Underdog Daily with the Bad Bros, Jon and Nez hanging out. Black and Yellow Dog app, platform of the people on a winner's circle Monday. Not gonna lie, guys, I was a little scared. I was a little scared at one point today that this would be the first Monday without a guest because, unfortunately, due to some travel plans, we had a couple snip snaps on us, Nez. But I think people are going to be thrilled with this one because we got one of these. I was afraid he was going to go Sam Olsen on us, want to go full incognito and not share his face on the stream. But I think the people will be really pleased with today's guest. Truly one of the best players on the site.
Yeah. Maybe even a little underrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been kind of, in the dark a little bit. So really excited to get to talk with him. It's the first time I've ever spoken with him. So this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Love it, dude. Yeah, likewise. Yeah, dude. I think if I could epitomize what this individual is to me, I would say that it is the loudest guy in the room is not always the best guy in the room. You know what I mean? And him just lurking in the shadows, just quietly winning. But we all know who he is, kind of vibe. That's how I would frame it.
Yeah. I think it's good synopsis.
Yeah. Nez, we'll do a full breakdown of the community winners. We are going to do NBA today, the monster NBA slate, some back-to-backs all mixed into that. A lot of moving pieces with some Q tags and stuff. I put Anthony Davis on the cover because that's a big make or break, and it was a big break for a lot of people on the weekend there where he didn't suit up. Yeah, some interesting dynamics to that one. And then we'll do the Primetime Palooza slate as well. We got a fun game tonight, Eagles-Packers in that one, and then we got some interesting stuff to discuss with the Patriots now that we saw the young kids come to life over the weekend there for that slate. So excited for this one just in general. Lay of the land for the week, guys. We had another guest today, Barzy, a renowned puck guy, was going to come on the program, had some travel stuff. We're going to do an additional winner's circle tomorrow with him. So tomorrow is not going to be a paywall show. It's going to be forward facing for everybody. It's also good because we have a little bit more of an NBA slate than we usually have on a Tuesday. I think tomorrow's like 5 or 6 games. So setting up nicely for a good week of hoops here.
For sure. Today's a good one as well. So excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Tomorrow might actually be a little bit shorter of a program just in general because it is a holiday. So, I mean, we'll figure that one out. That totally slipped my mind until like literally it came out of my mouth right there. But we'll figure it out.
I don't know holidays. I don't even.
Yeah. No days off. No slates off, baby.
No, not unless there's no slate to be drafted. There's still basketball. All right, we're fine.
Yeah. I mean, no slates off would be the perfect segue here, Nez, to our guest in the winner circle here. I will do my job if you do yours. Are you ready, my friend?
Let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. There it is.
All dogs go to KC.
All dogs go to KC. Some dogs. The good dogs go to KC. What up, Chris? Welcome to the program, Chris.
How's it going, boys? Nice to finally make it on here. I'm always watching. You guys do a great job. Just so entertaining. I like the shows that don't really, get into all the numbers, stuff like that. I mean, you guys do a great job with the numbers as well, but very entertaining. Can watch it every day. Just great stuff.
Love it, man. Appreciate that, dude.
Yeah,
take it from a good Canadian kid, eh, Nez? Good Canadian kid to come on here with some nice, kind words for the people.
Yeah, who would have thought? Nice, another nice Canadian.
Oh man, Chris, welcome to KC, dude. Well earned. We've known you guys we've known you for a long, long time on the site, but first time doing a show together, as Nez said earlier. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How long you been playing?
I've been playing for a long time. I play on the other sites every day. Do that. Been doing that for like 10 years. I used to play on Draft as well, the OG Draft site, right? Used to grind the 3-mans there. I was doing like $5 3-mans, grinding those out. And then that ended. Got onto Underdog. That's how I got my name. Just Chris on Underdog.
Yeah.
I was there like day one. And yeah, it's just super fun. It's different from the regular DFS stuff where you just like plug the best plays, stuff like that, more numbers based. This is more like game theory. You can kind of like play against your opponent more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, makes a ton of sense, right? I mean, it's it's literally peer to peer.
Yeah.
I knew that you were out here in the DFS world. I wasn't familiar with the extent of your background. So 10 years, is this like is this full time for you?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can. I play cash games mostly. You can probably find me in every contest on all three sites, including Yahoo.
Wow.
Yeah, I just
Really
grind them
sick.
all. Pretty
Yeah.
much every sport. Yeah, just I love the game. I love the grind.
That's sick, bro. Love it. Love it. Yeah, you talked about like the difference between the two sites and stuff. When you're grinding both at the same time, like what's some of the big differences for you? Like what are some of the angles of, from a strategy standpoint, like you wake up this morning, you're gonna play hoops. How are you attacking, one versus the other?
Well, I think like Underdog takes more time for me, even though I play a lot less on here, just overall. Um, in terms of process, I'm I'm grinding Underdog like throughout the morning, throughout the afternoon, and then that kind of gives me a pulse for the slate, like
Okay.
who's gonna play, stuff like that, who's a good play, all that stuff. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Right on, dude. Yeah. I mean, that makes total sense that this would be a precursor of like getting your bearings. And then as soon as it comes lock, you're jamming the other stuff
Yeah.
there. Actually, I got a question because you said you play primarily cash and stuff. From like the build standpoint, do you find mirror like more of the play the best plays cash angle on UD, or is it more of like a GPP mindset when you're, maxing these contests, the draft games?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I think you can't just go one way or the other.
Sure.
But that's what makes it so fun on Underdog because you can do different things and you can reach the top. Um, yeah, I mostly play Underdog to get this like GPP exposure like in my entire portfolio. Um, so yeah, that's why I like it.
Yeah. Right on, dude. Nezzy, you're muted.
Yeah,
Passionate.
and you are, like you said, every sport, every contest, big time multi-sport draft lead here. What would you say is like your favorite sport? Maybe not like your best sport, but like what's like your favorite sport on Underdog and why? As somebody that is like extremely well versed in all these games.
Favorite sport? I mean, it's got to be NFL. I don't sweat my lineups on Underdog, but I'd know my like who I'm higher exposed to. So when I'm watching the games, like I know who I want to cheer for in that case. I don't really I wouldn't say I like love NFL over other sports necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so much nuance to every different sport that makes each sport very interesting to kind of grind.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. I know you had a ton of success in baseball. I wasn't sure if that was one of like something that you like felt like you had a better edge in, or is that just like the way that baseball works on Underdog kind of benefited you more?
I mean, I saw that chess guy, the guy with the chess handle. He was just taking down every slate with the 5-man stacks, and then I was like, I'm just gonna try this, and it's just so much easier to build.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of took his strategy and went from there, and had pretty good success after that. Because before that, it was kind of hard to play MLB because you can't really jam the best plays and like have success. So once I leaned into that stacking mentality, where it's like 5-man stacks, it either works or it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started having more success.
It's funny that's kind of been a meta each of the years that we've had like big baseball prize pools on Underdog that some new player has adopted, not new to the platform necessarily, but a player has adopted, like Eyes on Fence or whatever we kept calling him, the chest name or whatever. Like we hadn't seen him before. He comes in, starts doing that. It was Tomato before that. It was Jaywitz before that. It was, we could go down the lineage of this, but someone always seems to go, hey, the field's underrepresenting this. Let's attack that edge. And this year it turned out to be you. And I think that was a super astute of you to pick up on there.
Yeah, I mean that guy was just you would just see him at the top of leaderboards with like 1% owned plays like almost every night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Let's talk about Dog Bowl. Let's talk about some of this stuff. Have you been trying to qualify this whole time for Dog Bowl? Has Dog Bowl been a priority for you? Walk me through it.
It hasn't been a priority. Like as I said, I'm more of a cash guy, so these qualifiers don't really entice me that much. Um, so I mean, I've always wanted to go, so I've always thrown in, like in previous years, I've thrown in entries. This year, I like at the start of the season, I was doing like 100 for the first couple of weeks, and then I was like, I was close, but not really getting there. I was mostly just trying to play with my rake pack, really. So that's what kind of funds these, but so I kind of stopped after the first couple of weeks. I lowered my volume to like 30. Some weeks I did like 2, and then I think a few weeks ago I went back up to like 75 or something like that, and then this past week I did 50. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really like there isn't really like some answer to the test that I have for the Dog Bowl. I think you just put in solid lineups and then just hope to get lucky, right?
Fair enough. Yeah. This is interesting, Chris. Like you're talking about the rake back, you're talking about the volume and stuff like that. Like, don't mind me asking, like, how much time do you spend drafting a week, man? Like, if you're putting in, are you maxing every contest on the site? Are you maxing every sport? Like, are you playing puck right now too? Like, what's
Yeah,
your deal?
every site. I mean, sorry, every slate, every sport. That's one thing that I can control. Like I can grind harder than other users, right? So
Fucking love
that's
that.
that's what I that's what I try to do. That's where I get my edge.
That's sick, man. I love that mantra. Like that's old school poker days for me, where it's like the one thing in my control is I can outwork you. I
Yeah,
fucking love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool, man. Good for you. I'm gonna bring up the lineups here. Let me see. Got all the wrong buttons. After you take 2 days off for a weekend here, and you forget how to stream.
No way.
No, every week. Oh, we can see the Pick'em graveyard there. Yeah, here we go. Dog Bowl qualifiers here. As you guys can see, little light on the volume for me this week. We'll talk about Barzy and Tabinis, aka Ty, with his second there, and then we got Chris's lineup right here, man. Yeah, there was some interesting plays this week where it was like you needed some A-Chan stuff, you needed some Hendo stuff, you needed Jameer Gibbs stuff after the late slate, and then the wide receivers, the top end guys didn't really separate. You needed some of these spikier profiles at the back end. We talked about the Tez Johnson and JMO both on our Scroll EF down lists this week, so happy to see that. We actually talked about the Drake May to Hendo stack as well there, so love to see this get home for you. And then the true play, Juwan Johnson down here. Trey McBride broke the slate, and Kittle was really close there behind at like 18. But of the scroll variety, man, the Juwan Johnson and the Dalton Schultzes put up some real nice usable scores in the last round. Walk me through it, Chris.
I mean, like I said earlier, like I can't really say that I knew that these guys were going to be the ones that were going to go off, right? I just try to build these like solid lineups that makes sense in terms of upside. Like I like getting like game stacks sometimes. I usually wouldn't go Gibbs and JMO together, but obviously this time it just worked out. I needed that wide receiver. I think I got JMO in the late 40s. And then in terms of tight end, kind of just rotate the guys at the end. So I wasn't like heavy on Juwan. Just really got lucky with this build.
I mean, love it. Yeah, I mean, I love the modesty and the humbleness of it. Of like, hey, I just try to build good teams and stuff like that. Let's dive into that. Like, without giving away all the secret sauce, what constitutes to you as like building a good team?
Well, just looking at projections, not not getting guys who I think are being overdrafted in relation to their projection. Stuff like that. Like usually I wouldn't go early QB like this, but just like I said earlier, you got to kind of be adaptive and kind of change up. You can't just have one plan that you're going to stick to for the slate. Like I think it's good to diversify in that way.
Yeah, and
well
like, who
said, dude.
knows? Like, if you didn't take if you didn't take May there, I'm not sure who would have been on the board, but like you probably don't get to the Dog Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like just
the
by
team would
like
have been completely different.
it's so funny how that happens where like it's not even necessarily about who you take, it's like who you don't take.
Yeah.
And like finding, but like it's impossible to know in the moment, like you said. You just kind of have to let the chips fall where they may. But a ton of upside here, though. I mean, JMO, obviously, ton of upside, as we know, week in, week out. It's like it's binary. It's 20 or 0. Hendo, I really liked Hendo later in the week with like just hearing the coach speak and like seeing like what the target share looked like for Hendo. I was really excited about that. Gibbs, enough said. And then Jawan without Shaheed, just opening up targets for him. So like a very logical team that like, I I definitely would have liked to have had. But
yeah,
it's very like this is very sensical. There's no real gal braining here. Just
yeah.
a bunch of good
I try to
players.
look at my teams after I build them, and I'm like, oh, does this make sense? Yes. And then I'm happy with it. I was on JSN and Puka over Gibbs early in the week, and then kind of doing my last 10 or so. I think this build was my last 10 or so. I put Gibbs at 2 just to kind of diversify a little more. And then just happened to work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's actually a good shout just in general of like, we talked about it on Off It on the Clock. Like I was team Puka at 2. Like I played a lot of Puka this week. I kind of jammed the late games in that game environment in particular. Like I onslaughted the shit out of Lions, Bucks, and Rams. That's basically all I did this week in my entries. Obviously not as much in the 12-man. I only got 3 entries in there, but that was my 6-man philosophy. But I do really like this shout of like no stone unturned, where it's like, okay, Gibbs, we know he has the propensity, ability to break a slate here. Let's move him up to 2 and get some combos that are slightly different, i.e., with Henderson here, with Tez, who were left side of the board guys opposed to right side of the board guys. Give yourself optionality to different builds with your Gibbs stuff than people were getting early in the week. Because as soon as the projections came out, he was kind of a faller in the 12-mans. Well, he's a faller in all contests, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in terms of sweat, like I said, I don't really sweat my underdog lineups. I'm usually sweating my cash game lineups on the other sites. So
Yeah.
on underdog, actually, so the last 3 games, they were kind of blowouts, right? So I checked with like 10, 15 minutes left in the slate when those games were blowouts. I was like, oh shit, like this team was in second place with like a pretty good gap, a pretty good cushion with other guys. And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go feed my dogs and then see what happens. I'll check again in like 10 minutes when the slate's over. So I come back to my computer and I'm like, I don't check the Dog app. I go on ESPN to check the box score just to see like,
so sweaty.
Yeah, I
I'm one
do
of those
that.
guys.
I do that too.
I check the box score. I see
Yes.
if like who scored the touchdown. So I'm going through the games, like no one scored since the Gibbs touchdown, which put me up here. And then I go to the San Fran game and it's like, oh shit, Kittle got one with 2 minutes left. Like, so I'm like, oh shit, like does someone have Kittle? Then I go to Underdog and I'm like, I'm sitting there in third, 0.2, I think, or 0.3 above the next guy. It's like, holy crap, good thing I wasn't like sweating that actively.
Oh God, that's gross. I love it. Dude, you
Yeah.
mentioned the dogs. What kind of dogs?
I have a Bichon, and then my family dog is a standard poodle. So
Okay. Right on.
I take care of the poodle sometimes when they go to the island or whatever. So yeah.
Sounds good. Bichon, almost a Bichon, huh? Did you I gotta ask the redacted question here. Cash game this week. Did you go with the Parker Washington and the Slam Jacoby Brissett lineup on the orange redacted?
The orange and black redacted?
Yeah, the orange and black redacted.
No, I actually went with JJ McCarthy. I didn't have Parker Washington. I don't think he was too chalky on there, was he?
Depended which build you put in, but it was close.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think I had a break even day there, and then I had a good day on the other 2
On the other two,
sites.
right on. Yeah, cool. Just curious what you ran out there. Just curious. Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Chris, man, anything else for the people? Maybe some NBA plays tonight. You deep in the weeds with NBA yet?
No, not yet. I haven't done any yet. Actually, I do them the night before sometimes, but
Okay.
that's a little sweaty. But yeah, you will catch me in those lobbies. Sometimes I do max it the day before.
Oh wow.
Okay. So these are the fun maxi questions for guys that like, Juice McCaffrey's asking like, what percentage do you auto versus manual on UD? Are you a PC guy? Are you a phone shitter, bro? What's your vibe?
Yeah, definitely on the PC. I don't really open the app on my phone.
Yeah.
But in terms of auto, depends on the sport, right? Depends on the slate as well. Like if it's a dog bowl slate, like sometimes I throw in a few overnight to auto, but usually I'm doing them manually. And
Okay.
then for sports like MLB, you can kind of queue up the players and do it like that. So it just depends on the sport and also the slate.
What about
Sounds good,
what
yeah.
about PTPs?
PTPs, it's a mix of both because like there's a lot of nuance in terms of like the people you're drafting with, their teams, and I actually like that part. Like that's the fun part about drafting on Underdog. You get to kind of try to find your edges in different places. Just in you can find them in the draft lobby, like just small things.
Yeah, that used to be my my 101. A lot of the stuff that we wrote up in the masterclass about the PTP stuff, that was originally what I fell in love with on this site as a game theory angle of like can you push a Q tag around the corner? Can you get someone to max out their onesies before you jam your flex? Like little stuff like that were like micro edges, 2-3 years ago that are now like common knowledge kind of vibes amongst our community.
Yeah, the Q tag thing you mentioned is just so big. Like you got to look at who the drafter is next to you. Like if it's someone you don't know, you can kind of like tell how people are going to draft if you draft enough on this site.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you can tell who's, drag and drop the CFSV guys, and you can tell,
Gumby.
Love it, man.
The
Love it.
101.
Yeah. Got it. You got to get 75% Draymond Green anytime you can.
And then complain about it.
Yeah, PC maxis stand up here. Are you an active tab guy? Like how many max drafts? Let's go NFL because we're talking dog bowl and stuff. How many max NFL 6-person drafts can you do at once right now?
I can probably queue up like 10 to 20. And then I have the drafts in different tabs.
Yeah.
And then I just cycle through them like that. It's easier than anything else for me.
Okay, so you're old school tab guy and you're bouncing around the top. Okay.
Well, I have it on the side. There's an extension on Chrome that you can put them on the side instead of the top.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
It's just a lot easier because they don't become tiny,
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I haven't experimented with that. That's some good alpha to mess around with.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother. He put me onto that.
Okay. Cool. Right on.
Can you share the name
of my brother?
What it's called? No, no, the extension.
Maybe vertical tabs or something. Vertical Chrome tabs.
Yeah,
you find it?
Funny.
I'll look after the show.
Yeah, we gotta let this guy get out of here before he gives away all the edge here. Easy's like, this guy's giving away too much right now.
Yeah, I'm sure the vertical tabs are gonna.
Dude, you're gonna unlock something for me. Maybe then I'll start clicking the good plays. I don't know.
Yeah, my plays have been presented horizontally all season. I can't find the good ones. I need them vertically.
Jon, I'll take anything, man.
Good shit, man. Chris, dude, it's a pleasure. Good BC boy, man. Look forward to hanging out in KC, talking a little puck when we hang out there, my friend. Any parting words for the people? Anything else you would like to say and or share with the community?
I'll just shout out to you guys. I mean, you guys put on a great show. I watch it pretty much all the time on the side. Just very entertaining. It doesn't get old. It doesn't get stale. So that's what's so good about it. So yeah, shout out to you guys.
Appreciate that,
Thank
dude.
you, man. Yeah, appreciate that so much, man. Yeah. I'm glad you went with the word entertaining, not informative, because that takes a lot of pressure off of me. Like,
No, I mean, I don't really like those shows that just like try to give you the best plays, stuff like that.
sure,
I want something that's entertaining, right?
right on, dude. Yeah, that's what we're
Keeps me
here,
coming
man.
back.
We're here for a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of community build, some good stories, and some laughs along the way. I mean, we're just like you guys, right? We're just like everyone in the chat here. We love these games and we love to play these games, so we jam these games together.
Yep, love it.
Awesome, bro. Best of luck this evening. What's one piece of information for? I guess you haven't been in the hoop streets yet. Have you been in the PTP? What's one
No, I
piece of
haven't looked at
information
anything
for?
yet.
Nothing yet.
Haven't looked at anything,
Okay, sounds
so I'm
good.
about to get to it.
All right, sounds good, man. Best of luck tonight. We will see you in the draft lobbies. Much love, my friend.
Peace, Chris.
Awesome
What a
stuff,
guy.
man. Dude, we say it week after week here, man. Like, this community, the more people we meet, like, we haven't got a rotten egg yet. Like, everyone you meet in the community is like, fuck, this guy's dope. This person's sweet. Like, I want to hang out with these people. Like, it's awesome to see, man.
Yeah, cool to get to speak with like a grinder on the site here. Yeah, it's one thing that we talked about a lot. The 101 edge it's like so different than like, volume in DFS in general is obviously king, but like volume on Underdog, that's a whole different ballgame. That really unlocks a lot of potential for you. And yeah, Chris definitely proof of that. Jealous that I don't have the ability to get in like I used to, but we make it work. We make it work.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the other thing I'd like to harp on there is like, you guys, you hear him speak, like, such a grinder mindset, such a like, diligent work ethic, such a like, hey, I know I can outwork you kind of vibe to it, which is awesome. I love that so much. Like, that's something we talked a little bit about in the tilt proof area of the masterclass of like, yeah, man, the way you keep level headed in these games and like push the swings to the side and stuff, it's just outworking your opponents. And Chris is the epitome of that. Also, just want to put on people's radar that, like, he's doing the cash game thing. It might not be on our site necessarily, but you talk to Awin. Awin does the cash game thing on our site. Other guys doing it. It's a true ball knower's angle to stabilizing the swings of, DFS, because we'll talk about our own portfolios and stuff like that. Like, if you're just playing the GPPs, you're taking 60, 70% hits all the time, over and over and over again, even when you play quote unquote well. So I think it's just a good mental reset for everybody that, like, hey, mixing in some of those 3-man cash lobbies. Like, you heard Chris, when he first started out, he was playing 3-mans on draft, right? Like, that's how he built a bankroll 10 years ago to become the grinder that he is now. So very cool to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Just a programming note for me before we continue.
Yes,
I have an hour. I got to leave at 2:30. We got to take Melly to the doctor. He's doing good. We just gotta go to the doctor today.
All right, sounds good, my friend. Mel's health comes first, baby, always. We'll walk through the lobbies here, some community winners and all that stuff. I just wanted to say in the chat, Dat Mavis was looking for somewhere to share some love. And yeah, you can't gift memberships from mobile. It's like it's the weirdest thing in the world when it comes to just a YouTube thing. But love this, man. The way the community supports one another. Absolutely, man. Like, it's truly crazy, because this is like zero-sum style games, right? And yet everyone's so supportive of one another. All right, dude, let's do this. As we said, Barzy's going to be on the program tomorrow. We'll talk through this lineup. This was a Caleb Williams lineup there, which I was actually surprised Caleb was 100% drafted in the Dog Bowl. I just kind of thought people would get a little scrolly when it got to like QB like 8 or 7, something like that. He ended up finishing as QB 8. I don't know. I wasn't. It's not like a bad play or anything like that. I was just like a little surprised that he was 100% drafted just based on the fact that he was QB8. Yeah,
people love the Giants.
Yeah, that's true.
To attack them.
Yeah, we'll talk through that lineup tomorrow with him. And then Ty, man, Tabinis right here finishes first on here. A little Mac Jones, cheeky Mac Jones to Purdy swap there. You also see him flirting with it 7, 8, 10. Unbelievable stuff there. Pour one out with friends of the show here in Dan Mathology and Patrick Barnes YouTube, all vying for seats there. Very close. Continue to grind, my friends. Obviously, a couple of them already have seats. Yeah, anything to say dog bowl wise on your end, Nez?
No, best lineup was 21st, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Put in a lot of volume, but man, just a massive scoring week, and not enough Hendo, not enough Gibbs, but I had this one, and Woody Marks, almost scored at the end, but it wouldn't have been enough. So honestly, I'm kind of glad that I wasn't sitting with like 135 and sweating this just to lose. So I'm actually glad I didn't win more money. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that I didn't win a better consolation prize, because it would have hurt more. But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, man, like thought I played pretty well, but super high scoring week, and we got 2 more tries. So 2 more tries.
Wow, that's actually crazy. It's only 2 more tries.
Yep. Pretty sure.
Your boy better step it up this week. Get some volume in here. You guys jammed it early there.
Maybe is it 3?
3 more, but still.
10, yeah. 11, 12. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yep. This was 10.
Oh, dude, see? Yeah. Yep, 2 more tries.
Wow. Okay, your boy's got to step it up this week. This is going to be my highest volume week. This is what Crutches came on the program and talked about the other day, where he was like, everyone like lags in the middle, and then they're going to realize that like, oh shit, it's time to qualify. And then they start jamming. So yeah, it's me. Yeah, that's me. What did I do?
Don't worry about it.
Oh no.
You didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything?
No.
Oh, I didn't even. There's Rogers in the chat, and there's John's, and he's like, people are like, he doesn't even know. I actually don't even know.
Dat Mavis is doing a bit, but we're not going to. We'll take that offline. You're aware, but we're gonna take that offline.
Oh my god, classic John. Not even fucking. Just so gullible and taking everything at face value. But shout out to our guy GSD4 is up here again here, and Dreams of Sunday, Dreaming of Sunday, great screen name here in the Flea Flicker. Know he hangs out in Pete's stuff and in the Discord there. Main slate here, your boy bricks off into bomb. Yeah, you hate to see it. But we'll take a look at the main Battle Royale winner here. Notorious Parlay, big shouts here. This was a Jackson Dart on the bring back off of a Rome team. Man, football's so funny. Like Rome goose eggs last week when Caleb puts up like 37 fantasy points, and like then all of a sudden you need Rome to win the BR the next week when Caleb doesn't play as well. Like sports are so funny. But this Gibbs plus Achane plus McBride was the stone cold nuts, the 3 high scores on the slate that you needed relative to those positions. Yeah, it was hard to obtain, but I didn't have any, I don't think, in my portfolio. I might have had one, but I did have a decent amount of like the Gibbs plus Achane. Just didn't find the right stuff around it there. But beautiful stuff to find the GM start and then still do the scroll down at both, not 100% owned wide receivers, getting that 23% owned gem of Jameson Williams. Yeah,
that JMO play was sick. Shout out to him for that. I mean, what was there's nothing too crazy about this. I mean, Achane was pick 10, ADP 9.6. Jahmyr Gibbs pick 3. Trey McBride pick 15, ADP 13.
Yeah,
that's all very fair.
Yeah, not crazy at all. Yeah, very nice team there. The JMO one, man. Pretty hilarious. Dan Campbell at halftime saying, I'm taking over play calling duties. And then what happens? They just absolutely pepper him for a full drive. He gets like 3 catches on the drive and scores. Then they come out. I think they get a turnover, and then they come out again. And instantly another like 30-yard play to JMO. And it was like, holy shit, man. Dan Campbell just loves this dude. So super bullish on JMO moving forward if Dan Campbell is going to continue to call plays. Obviously, the matchup was like so goated against, just an abysmal secondary with, gash holes in zone coverage over and over again with Washington there. But that's neither here nor there. We love to see the usage for JMO.
Sure do. Very, very, very beneficial for the best ball bags.
Absolutely, yeah. Shout out to J Sam, man. Won a battle royale earlier this season. Matthew Stafford coming in at 54%. It fucking, oh my God. I can't believe it. He runs it naked.
Called it,
though.
man.
Yeah, he runs it naked here and gets it done. Obviously, the setup was that Gibbs plus Achane. Then he needed Kittle. He gets a Buka instead of McBride, which means he gets the Kittle one. And then Chris Olave coming out at only 42.5%, despite the 33 flat ADP, which, kind of lines up. I thought it would have been a little bit higher than that. I was kind of soft fading Olave because I thought it would be like a little bit overdrafted and was scrolling past it to like JMO and Addison in particular. But yeah, just another strong lineup here. So big shouts to another member of the community there.
Yeah, what a year for J Sam. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the J Sam plus J Baconator past roommates, handshake agreement, whatever it is. There we go. Eddie Lacy, we've seen up here a couple times. Man Ray, a very good player on the site as well. Love to see it. Your boy had 120th. I played a shit ton of Baker and a shit ton of the Rams stuff. We could dabble in my exposures in a half second. Any other contests we want to look at? Chris is up here in DeBomb. Kobe, we've seen a lot of up there as well. Any other contests you want to hit on here? We could hit on Batch Bros Brawl.
Yeah. What was the winning lineup here, I guess?
I thought this was Chad Candles.
No, Chandler.
When I just looked at it, I was like, yo, that looks like Chad Candles. But my dyslexic brain thought it was Chad Candles. But the miso tuna's up there as well. Yeah, you just kind of needed that same Achane plus Gibbs plus McBride. But you scroll the F down to Jackson Dart there when all the top quarterbacks fail, that you get this GM at the start here, or obtainable, but you get all the leverage by scrolling down to Jackson Dart. Beautifully constructed.
Yeah, well done.
Love it. Dad Mavis, my guy, thank you so much. Dropping off 5 Badge Bros memberships after embarrassing me by not knowing the joke. And then David, man, every week we're about to get to David. He tagged us in a little something earlier there. David drops off 5 at our door. Appreciate that so much. We'll make good on it as the week progresses here with a couple members only shows. Yeah, anything else you want to hit on here? Deposit Kingdom League, Pete probably went over it, but we got Steampunk Mario up there, Vogie Berra, and it's Mookie who are always hanging out. So mad shout outs to them.
No, it was just a kind of a weird week. I mean, there's a lot of really strong duds from studs. Like CMC bust, JJ total bust. Yeah, I mean, it was just there were some kind of weird scores going on. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out like the way to navigate slates like this. Maybe there just isn't one when you're just like committed to, drafting Justin Jefferson when he falls to you, and you're never going to pass up McCaffrey 101 most slates. Yeah, just a weird slate, man. Trying to do better because it's tough, dude. It's tough. I don't quite have the answer on the on the Dawg app this season. It's been beating my ass.
Yeah, it's something we've talked about where, hey man, only 10 slates, you had a nice basketball one mixed in there. Your process is probably rock solid still. And it's just, we're taking some time to alleviate the variance throughout here. But yeah, it's weird when, you have such good top 1% finishes, but then they don't match the results, or you have such nice exposures, but they don't match the results, like that sort of deal. Right. So, yeah, it's hard to have like concrete takeaways week after week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like very similar in the same camp as you there, Nez. I basically full faded the Rico and Cook area and just jammed the shit out of Achane. I ran hot on the CMC stuff this week. Played a ton of Adams, which looked pretty good, and the Stafford stuff looked really good. The Puka, Adams, Stafford stuff I was quite confident in. Especially when we see that Stafford comes in at 54%. Loved that. I basically full punted I full scrolled at quarterback, which is what I said I'd do on Friday, but I wouldn't scroll like super far, but played a bunch of that and like full faded on Allen and Lamar. They're quite comfortable with the way I played, outside of the fact that I played the Rashad White in the tough matchup with Sean Tucker. I put a little too much stock in that status on Friday with the Sean Tucker stuff, and should have played more Hendo on the other side of that. So yeah, and then nailed the 2 top tight ends and got concentrated around them, but just not enough to get home this week. All right, dude. Let's actually the last one I wanted to hit on was Primetime Palooza. The Thursday times Berlin times Sunday night there. Wanted to hit on the community here, fully loaded, and the miso tuna up here. Jzar in here as well, and I have no idea how to say this, guys. Soccer Liam X. That's what we're going with.
Yeah.
There we go. We're going with Soccer Liam X.
I mean, that is indeed the username.
There we go. Yeah, and just a 1v1 away there, and Nez had to scroll to Josh Downs instead there, but yeah, I didn't want to be a chalk donk and be the 5th in the dupe train for 5K. I would rather respectfully come 71st place with that 0.8 stuff in there.
I respect it.
I could barely read. All right, let's do it, man. Let's move into the hoop stuff. Did you dabble over the weekend there? I only played a couple lineups each night there. Actually had a really fun weekend, but that's neither here nor there. I'll break down the macro of it, but where are you at in your process?
I played over the weekend. Didn't do well yesterday, but I was like just fully mailing it in and autoing yesterday. Did decent on Saturday. Could have been better, but had a decent day. Today I am, I think 60 drafts in on the main. It honestly should have been like 100. 5 crossovers done as well. This is going to be, if all these Q tags play, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, very much so. I think you really hit on the narrative of the slate today is the Q tags and the falling Q tags, because we effectively have top 20 plays, maybe 5 or 6 of them that all have Q tags or probable tags right now.
Yeah, that have been switched to probable. Right.
Yeah. So, if you're playing Josh Giddey as in, he probably projects as a top 8 or 9 play, something like that. If you're playing Anthony Davis in, we're expecting Gafford this evening as well. So I don't like him as much at the 4 than I like him at the 5. So maybe there's a little something there, but it doesn't matter. Anthony Davis will still project as a top 8 play on this slate as well. A lot of people were anticipating an Anthony Edwards on the back-to-back Q tag, and he does not receive one. Instead, they just rule out Terrence Shannon early there with their first report. Asar Thompson, we got Q tags on everybody other than Cade and Duran for Detroit today, so that's another one that's going to play. We got the upgrade to Miles Bridges to probable. We got the upgrade after shoot around to Austin Reeves there. Jalen Johnson missed last time out and has the Q tag here. Clippers, one of the slowest teams in the league. Atlanta still decently fast and look like a good spot there. That's kind of like the macro of the Q tags. And then there's the push-pull dynamic of if AD out, then 6th round Cooper Flag, then 6th round PJ Washington. If Asar out, I don't know if people want to scroll even further in Detroit than that, but maybe it just pushes up Cade a little bit. I don't know how much higher he could possibly go, but maybe Duran becomes 6, 7, 8 range opposed to 10, 11, 12 range there. Just thoughts on the macros of the Qs here, not necessarily in out, but just how you're treating them.
I'm just what if they all play? That's how I'm treating them. So I'm drafting them all. That's what I spent last night doing, but was sort of confused on what to do. And then this morning I did it still and just all right, let me just jam it. Okay. So I did, and I've got 50% of pretty much all those Q tags, including the Q to Ps right now.
Okay.
So feeling good about the Miles Bridges and Austin Reeves stuff right now. I think AD plays. I think it's pretty close last game.
I think so.
So this is like that was like the Q before the Q, and now ADP 21. Like this, just like it's just for me. Maybe I guess bankroll situations kind of dictate how you treat Q tags. It's just a no-brainer to draft those guys. It's a no-brainer. Like you don't have to do 150, but if you're drafting and you're passing up on like pick 18 Anthony Davis, you're passing up on 4 or 5 turn Jalen Johnson, Austin Reeves, Miles Bridges. Quite frankly, I'm just like not sure why you're drafting this early. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, good shouts, dude. Yeah, I respect and agree with you. Unless you think they're going to be hampered or limited or whatever, yes, fully agree with you there. If your edge is drafting early, especially on a slate like this, it's to encapsulate, third round Giddey plus fourth round AD.
Yeah, and what's funny is like Giddey being the highest one when him to AD projection wise is like a point.
Right.
And yeah, AD's missed the past few games, but Giddey's got the freshest injury. And,
right.
He's, I think, legitimately questionable. I think we end up getting game time decision on Giddey. I think he plays, but his injury went viral and everyone's like, nah, he's good. It's just kind of interesting.
I think people not-waved it just because he came back in the game and he finished the game, but we know that ankles can swell after, right? So like the whole thing with ankles and like immediately like playing through them or whatever is not a doctor. You could speak more to this with your physio background and stuff like that. But like the ankle, you tape it right away before it swells, you play through it, and then after you do the Rice thing and you see how fat the ankle is, whether he could play the next time out with a brace or with a tape, or if it needs to sit. So the severity of said ankle determines, after the fact with the swelling, if you're going to play today or not. So him coming back in the ball game is obviously more bullish than him not coming back into the ball game that evening, but it's not necessarily indicative of the fact that he's going to play today.
Yeah. No, you nailed it, man. It's not as cut and dry as he came back in, so he's fine. Because that's not how these injuries work. They tend to get worse the next day or the day after. So we'll see. I have a lot of Giddey, so it would benefit me if he plays. But just saying that's a funny dynamic.
Yeah. Yes, Giddey's injury is from the crossover where he got absolutely sliced and diced and fell over. And yeah, that's the viral video that everybody's talking about. It was Hunter on the other side, was it not?
It was DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, it was DeAndre Hunter who just crossed him up real good. Not familiar with your game, 6 man of the year potential there. Actually, I was thinking about 6 man. Just this is totally rogue, but my brain works this way. When I heard the word 6 man that I uttered, Jeremy Grant, can we get some? Is he going to be like a favorite in that regard? Is he going to be like listed on some of the redacted books? I haven't looked at anything for 6 man of the year. But Jeremy Grant's playing really well, and basically they've locked him into that off the bench role. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's playing really good basketball.
Yeah, for all I know, he could be like the favorite right now, and it's like such a dunce thing to even bring up.
Yeah, that's a weird award.
Yeah, it is. It is a weird award because it's like, who's the best player who like plays a lot but doesn't start, but maybe sometimes started accidentally? Like Hunter probably should have won the award last year before being traded, and then he had to start so much down the stretch that I think he was ineligible or something. I don't remember how it ran out.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Any stock in the nationally televised stuff this evening, Nez? We got the Detroit and Washington is the Peacock game, absolute barn burner there with all the Q tags. And then we got the Atlanta and Clippers one is an NBA TV game in the evening. Any stock for like the Jalen Johnson Q tag, or it just doesn't matter because it's second time?
It's not factoring in with my process, but maybe it should. Maybe I should be looking at TV schedules?
I just always keep it in the back of my mind when it comes to like rest guys. But I think the fact that Jalen Johnson missed the previous game and now he's carrying the same cue into this game, it doesn't matter as much. I was just going to agree with you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nez, let's bring up the beautiful Unabated interface and kind of do a rapid fire on the game by games here and some of the ADPs. Walk through the injury reports. It's actually really nice. We have every injury report, including the back-to-backs thus far. So we got a lot of stuff to talk through, which is good. We got the dreaded Giannis probable tag to start it all off here. The back-to-back situations included in this first game. Orlando. They are back-end, back-to-back. Jalen Suggs has already been ruled out. Detroit is back-end, back-to-back. The T-Wolves, back-end, back-to-back. And the Bucks, back-end, back-to-back. So 4 teams on the back end. And then for the front ends, tomorrow, we got a 6-game slate tomorrow, and it's only Utah who is on the front end of back-to-back. So 4 on the back and then 1 on the front there, which has led to some, decent reporting for us. It also helps that we get some renownedly good reporting teams in the early window of games too. All right, dude. Blazers and Magic. Magic playing considerably faster than they have in years past. Blazers, the fastest team in all of basketball. Actually, let me check that. Second fastest. Yeah, the Heat are still the fastest. So Heat are 101 of pace. Blazers are second there. Magic are playing way faster. A 235.5, 2 by way of the Magic here on the Magic side. We have already got Suggs ruled out on the back-to-back. Suggs played a high in minutes last time out and had a really good game yesterday. I think it was 29 minutes he ended up logging there, so that was good to see. And then no Scoot Henderson, no Dame, no Matisse Thybulle, no Blake Wesley on the other side there. Obviously, no Mo Wagner for the Magic as well. So, talk me through the dynamic of this one, Nez, because we have kind of like 5 draftable pieces in every single draft as I pop back to ADP.
Yeah, we do. This is a fun one for both sides. I find it interesting, just kind of macro, that the Magic are favored off a back-to-back against a good Blazers team, but maybe it's that West Coast to East Coast travel. Maybe the Blazers are, have some faults that I'm not quite seeing, but the Magic also have some pretty big faults. They got major warts, but maybe they're getting it together. Bane finally had himself like a good game. Maybe things are looking up for the Orlando Magic. But at any rate, man, really like pretty much everybody in this spot here. Paulo and Franz for me are the only 2 guys that I am drafting from Orlando. We mentioned the pace that both these teams play at, especially Portland, has me very bullish on Paulo and Franz here. Definitely like where Paulo's going. Sometimes he'll fall to the 2-3 turn, which is very fun. And then Portland. Portland here, Denny. I do like Denny, but like I don't have like a ton of him at the moment. Trying to get like above 10%. Not that I want to fade him. Obviously, it's a good spot, and he's been balling. But there's just a lot of really good players available where he goes. And then Drew Holiday, man. New Drew. The new Drew role is real. It's here. Yeah, dude, he's playing really, really good, really good basketball, and he's going to be 100% drafted, as he should, man, as he should. I mean, 57 fantasy points last time out will absolutely, juice that. Sure. And that was just like, you could see that coming from a mile away. Them versus Miami, right? We just talked about the pace, but he's got another good pace.
Sharp. I thought I was so sharp, man. I took 45% on Friday night. Thought I was so sharp, and everybody else did. Yeah. Everybody else did too.
It's one of those spots, man. One of the spots. Yeah. So this should be a really fun early game.
Good shouts all around there. Any thoughts on size matchup? Like it doesn't set up. I think it plays smaller tonight. Like where like I think Anthony Black probably draws into the starting lineup. Wendell Carter Jr. and Klingon. Like I just take them out of my player pool. Yeah, thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Black, I'm not getting to, but with no Suggs, he probably steps in.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some nice stuff. I mean, pretty nutted matchup against Boston when we saw it, but he's also just a guy that I biasly like a little bit. And, Bane hasn't been great. So he's a decent little pivot off of it, but it's probably way too deep for our game as we continue going. Yeah, I mean, hate Bane for the Magic. I think it's being, we talked about this the other day. I think it's being mismanaged, man. Like they haven't found their rhythm as an offense yet. All three of them, being Franz, Bane, and Paulo, are top 20 in ISO possession percentage. Like, they're all just playing by themselves. And when they start swinging the basketball more and they start finding Bane in the corner and letting him shoot more than Franz is shooting, like, things are going to start clicking. But yes, this is not what we envisioned for the Magic to start the year. They're below 500. We thought they were going to be much improved. We thought and they've been relatively healthy with the exception of Suggs having like the minutes limit and missing a couple here and there. I don't know, man. I don't have a good answer for it. I've watched it. It looks ugly too. Yeah, I could see why people are like souring a bit on the Magic.
Yeah, just give it time. Just give it time.
Yeah,
it will improve. It will improve, but it's definitely not in a good spot.
Love it. Oh, new member. There we go. Holy Swag, what's good, my friend? Welcome. Appreciate the kind words. All right, Nez. Oh shit, I clicked the wrong button. Classic, John. Let's jump on over. Next game up, Lakers and Hornets here, 232, 8.5 by way of the Lakers on the road here. Everybody jammed Luka on the weekend over Joker and over Wemby on an isolated slate, and they could not hold serve with the Hawks. It was the Hawks, right? And he only ends up playing like 28 minutes, that sort of thing. But we're hoping Luka can play north of 30 here and pay off the 101 this evening. Austin Reeves has missed 2 in a row, ? I'm pretty sure it was 2 in a row there. And he has been upgraded after going through a shoot around with the probable tag. The Hornets side of things here, it's good that Miles Bridges with the back spasms. He's been listed with this before this season. He gets the probable tag because they are still without Melo, Brandon Miller, Josh Green. They're without the G Leaguers who were getting some burn earlier this year, like Salon. Yeah, man, they're thin. They're thin. We've seen expanded Trey Mann a little bit in recent memory. Probably too thin for our player pool, but the 2 rookies getting some good burn right now in Knipple and Kalkbrenner. So Kalkbrenner, man, he's getting like 5 blocks a game, 4 blocks a game or something like that. It's wild to watch. What do you like in here, and what is draftable here?
Yeah, Lakers, Luka, Reeves, obviously. Reeves' ADP is just like very fake. Okay. You're going to see him go 3rd round now. So if you'd like Reeves today, which I do, I mean, you get out ahead of it if you want. It's just like his ADP is going to like be on the move rapidly, and it might never fully catch up. So just be aware of that. And then what is draftable. Good.
What would be a spot that you would draft Reeves today? Like if you're just ranking it out right now, raw ranking, not trying to like, push it in a room or something like that. What do you think? 14, 12, 8?
14.
14? Okay, cool. Yeah. Nailed it first try, obviously. And 8 for you, Nez, you're saying that it's playable this evening?
Yeah, I think so against the Hornets.
Okay.
Probably get there. If you get 30 minutes like you see against Portland and the Spurs, definitely worthwhile in the 6th round to mix in, because he's going to be well under 100%. Yeah,
both those games without Austin Reeves, so like maybe a little bit of inflated offensive usage. I haven't looked into it. We could look into it in a half second, but yeah, I mean, I think it's still like a decent enough spot. Obviously, Kalkbrenner's like pretty fine on the defensive end. It's more like the blocks. It's not like he's like a tough matchup for guys there. And he's split in the 48 with Diabates the vast majority of the time. Hornets side, dude, people are going to get excited to jam Bridges just because he's going to project better. Kind of like Austin Reeves, where it's going to be like a little bit fake here because he kind of feels like the only show in town. Colin Sexton's taken a bit of a step back in recent weeks here. James can shoot. Kalkbrenner can get the stocks. Knipple does a little bit of everything and has had some nice box scores recently. That 40 minutes is really encouraging. Obviously, that's a pace-up game against Miami there. So, some added possessions in that one. But yeah, just thoughts here in general.
Yeah, I think the Lakers are a decent matchup for opposing teams. So really like Miles Bridges. He's better than this ADP in terms of projection. Like you said, another one that has a fake ADP. And then I like Knipple as a 6-round scroll down. Yeah, he has like some inflated box scores there, but he's good, dude. He's good. And like I think right now, second option for the Hornets, the way that things are currently set up. So he's playing a lot and he's playing well. So sign me up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Like he was originally a guy that we were like, this is gonna be like kind of like shooting only. And now that some of the handling is dissipated and some of the other guys have left the floor, like it's like, oh, he's doing a little bit of everything right now, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, and projections are going to have him in the undrafted territory, so you're going to get a huge ownership discount on him.
Yeah, and great point from John here. Some of these rookies, like this is a great macro point here that he's saying they have stayed in, that he's stayed in. Con has stayed in some of the to close some of the blowouts, which is beautiful, like which makes like the minutes like really solid. That's a really good macro point for teams that have short rotations with a lot of injuries that have rookies. So like, Alex Sarr right now, everyone's talking about Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr's off to a great start, blah, blah, blah. He's getting more shots up, this sort of thing. Last year, he was like one of the guys who led all rookies in minutes at one point last year. I can't even remember, but it was near the tail end of last year where it's like he was playing 33 no matter what, because they're like, dude, we got to develop these kids, like these 20-year-old kids, like on bad basketball teams. We got to just give them every opportunity in the world to play. And a lot of the times what happens in those blowout runs is their role changes. Now he becomes the lead handler. Now we run more of the offense through him because other guys aren't on the floor. So I think that's a really good macro point there, that like blowout proof minutes are very cool to look for and very intelligent to look for. Good shout, John.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, very well said. Another good macro point to hit on here before we go to the nationally televised Peacock game of the Evil. This one, TK's asking, Reeves was free in the 6th round. I think a lot of people are going to feel this way about this slate, Nez, knowing that, you said you were aping all the Q tags. You got 50%. How do we combat the lineups this evening that are like, hey, I got 3 picks and then I closed with Giddey, AD, Reeves with those Q tags from last night? How do you beat those lineups knowing that, like, hey, those are going to project, quote unquote, better this evening? The depth of the slate feels like a good place to start, where it's just like, this, at least we're dealing with like not like 4 or 5 games where they can separate so starkly. At least we have a plethora of options. But what would you say to those people tonight?
I get it, but like, the 2v2s you're making of like, okay, like, yeah, maybe you can't do Reeves and insert 3rd rounder, Spida, Reeves and Giddey. Like if Giddey plays, like, yeah, maybe that's gone, but like he's still going to be, when you're on the clock, like one of the best picks on the board. So like if you're drafting, I'm not a huge fan of like game theorying plays like that. You just gotta, like, it, like, okay, cool. Like these lineups are going to project better than mine, but I'm still going to build the best possible teams at this point in time. And the counter, I guess, is like your teams are different. So there's some uniqueness angle there. You just never know how the slate's going to play out. Personally, I just do not think he's a fade.
Okay.
But if you think he's a fade and you don't think he's going to play well, then then lean into that. But like, I'm going to continue to take Reeves at his new price. That doesn't change for me. He's a good play.
Okay. All right. Well said. Let's move on. Peacock game here. Pistons and Wizards, 11.5 by way of the Pistons. That one's come down a little bit. It started at like 12 or 13.5. Another 35.5 total here, same as that Blazers game there. And that is because the Wizards are the 3rd fastest team in basketball right now in terms of pace. Pistons in that like 15, 16-ish tier. Wizards, Bilal Coulibaly has been ruled out. He had been starting. He is kind of defense first and a little bit Fugazi when it comes to the projection models. Like he is kind of like Draymond Green, but a guard, and doesn't really get his shots up and that sort of thing, but he'll always project for like 28 to 35 or whatever, just reminding everybody of who Bilal Coulibaly is. So we'll see a different iteration of the starting lineup here. And then the Pistons side, man, Tobias Harris is already ruled out there. Jaden Ivey's already ruled out. Marcus Sasser, which is, not overly impactful, but backup handling. Beef Stew, who had been doing some of the double big starting stuff, is out. Sir Thompson has a Q tag, and Chris Levert has a Q tag as well. So very interesting on what we are going to get on the Pistons side this evening. Nez, does that make you want to be bullish on Cade this evening, or bullish on Duren in the second round? Thoughts just how you're approaching the Pistons?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get any higher on Cade than 104 today.
Sure.
But
Yep.
My 104 for sure. Duren ADP 11. It might feel rich to people. Like if you're somebody that's like, I don't want to overreact to recent performance. Just overreact, man. Just do it. Let me tell you right now. Get ahead of it, because the matchup is not getting any softer for our guy Jalen Duren. And man, he's just like, he's playing very, very good basketball that we always knew that he could play. We said, or maybe that was me, like 2 years ago, I'm like, when Duren was on his game as a young player, he was like fucking like prime Dwight Howard, bro. Like
Nice.
He looked incredible. And now he's he's very much like a mature basketball player against the Wizards. Yeah, man. Like I'm taking Jalen Duren, sometimes 8, sometimes 9. Like I want to make sure that I have more Jalen Duren than 16%.
I love it, dude. Yeah, this is the flow chart, man. This is the flow chart. The jam it down Sar's throat is basically the flow chart right here. And Bagley's not much better behind him either. So yeah, I like that shout, dude. He's playing big minutes. Everything's been north of 30 for the last 5 games, and 3 of them have been north of 34 in competitive game environments. I mean, kind of like better at the rim Andre Drummond for like a Pistons comp. That's kind of like how I would throw it out there. Yeah, like just like has that 20-20 potential on any given night, and this looks like the matchup for it. I guess I'd ask you a pointed question here. Just given the game totals and the spread and the situations, him and Mobley are really close in ADP this evening. Who do you prefer, Jalen Duren or Mobley this evening?
I mean, Mobley, but like, God, I love Jalen Duren tonight.
Yeah. It's a tough spot, right? It's a tough spot to get overweight one or the other, because people are going to love the pace up Heat game, but Cavs got everybody back, and we don't know. Maybe Garland gets a little more expanded this evening there. Maybe the finger's a little bit better for. I'm slowly pivoting into the next game by accident, but I just think it's a very interesting point on the draft board there, where you're basically dealing with where is it? Duren's at 11 and Mobley's at 7 something. Where's Mobley? Am I blind?
It's 7-8.
Where is he? There it is. There you go. So I think it's very interesting, because it's like, if you're going to get overweight Duren in the second round, expense does it come? Because the models are going to love Harden tonight without Kawhi. Everybody always loves Danny. I don't really know who to pick on Orlando, but it's pace up spot for Donovan as well. Like, who are we taking it over if we're going to try and jam it tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough question. People are going to take Mobley past ADP now. Like, they're not going to really take Mobley at ADP with this projection that exists.
Sure.
I would take Duren, like, just IKB. Over Harden would be tough, bro. I would take him over Denny. I would take him over Denny. I would take him over Paulo sometimes. It's just like it looks like a big gap because there's like multiple players there, but this is a tier. Like Mobley, I'm gonna leave Ant out of that because I think Ant's in a really good spot and he's playing. But like Mobley to Duren, I mean, even Giddey. Mobley to Giddey is a tier. So can mix and match, do what you want in that when you're on the clock in that clump.
Yeah, and the models are. I actually haven't looked yet because I love doing these shows blind. I imagine the models are going to tell you to jam Harden because they always tell you to jam Harden, and this looks like a good spot for Harden as well. Like, I imagine they're going to tell you to jam the king of iso ball.
No Kawhi. You just play Harden.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So if you want to be contrarian relative to the field, you become the guy who jams Duren on the right-hand side of the board instead of jamming Harden on the right-hand side of the board.
The one macro thing I'll say, too, about the Harden projection, if you are using projections, like spoiler alert, he's like ADP 5, your projection rank 5.
Wow. Ooh, even better than I thought.
Yeah, he was definitely sick in that last game. He was late Q tag with the illness, and he suited up. I've never seen anyone that didn't want to play basketball more than James Harden with that Q tag. So, like, I don't know if he's over it. He probably is because he doesn't have the Q tag today. But, like, that might be – maybe that's the discount that's baked in and you just play into it. But, like, he was hampered, man.
Yeah. Dude's sick and he plays 40 minutes. What a dog.
Yeah, but he didn't do shit. He was just passing the whole time. Just like just dimes everywhere.
Yeah, and that's the complete opposite of how he plays because he leads the whole entire world in ISO possessions. And ISO, I think he's like top 10 in ISO points per possession too. Points per ISO possession as well, something like that. I like this shout from T Cage. Another angle to it is you fade the Mobley pieces, you fade the Donovan piece in the second round because you like the Cavs piece late better. So you can still get exposure to the game environment, but you do it in the 6th round.
Yeah, that's a fun angle for sure.
Yeah.
Just to kind of make this somewhat quick because running short on time. On the other side of this game, it's only Alex Sarr, and it's the classic conundrum with Sarr, and it's like the projection doesn't match the ADP. The problem this time is that like the projection that the projected guys that projected better than Sarr are these Q tag guys, and they're available late. So it's like, man, do I just take Sarr because he's been so strong in a role and his fantasy output here in 30 minutes, potentially less if they get blown out? Or do I jam the best plays? He's in a really tough spot because he's at that 2-3 turn with the 101. And it's like, okay, do I take Giddey, take on the risk of the Q tag and Julius Randle, or do I take Sarr here? Sarr projects like 10 picks worse than his ADP, but like evergreen, bro. Like, when has that mattered? It does. Sarr just continues to be good at fantasy right now. One of these days he's going to play to his projection, but it hasn't happened yet.
Right. Yeah. It might just be like that the historicals are not lining up and he's a completely changed player, right? Like
it will, yeah, for sure. Like, and he's probably running hot. I mean, it's going to be hard for projections to, given his historicals, given his minutes played, given the spread, given the game total, to get there on Alex Sarr. Like, it's just never going to happen. But like, you can believe it and play it because people at max are not going to draft him. Like, they're not.
Right. Yeah. Alex Sarr's 22nd in the league in usage around guys like Jamal Murray, Harden, Paulo, Denny Avdia, Josh Giddey, Kevin Durant, Alfred Şengün. So like that's the type of usage ceiling you're dealing with if the shot falls. Also, shot attempts up this year. Cool. Nobody else on Washington for you? It was nice to see Trey Johnson start over the weekend. It didn't matter, but I kind of anticipating it again tonight, and that'd be nice. Nice to see Cam Whitmore, who everybody has said the coach hates and every coach hates, but he played 29, so that was cool to see. It doesn't matter for our game this evening, but if you're playing elsewhere, maybe it does. But it was just nice to see two basketball players that I selfishly like get some good burn over the weekend there. Keyshawn George, he's kind of always live in the player pool, but the fact of the matter is when they started accumulating bodies, his offensive usage rate took like a really strong hit, and he usually gets the toughest assignment on the defensive end as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's keep jumping, dude. We kind of talked around this one with the Heat and the Cavs already there. 7.5 by way of the Cavs. This is the highest total on the slate. This 248. the fastest team in all of the land is the Heat right now. Cavs are a little more buried. I believe they were playing decent. Oh no, they're no, about 7th in the league in terms of pace. So yeah. All 4 Cavs draftable for you this evening?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Garland, I was like not getting to, but like I'm gonna mix him in for sure.
Yeah, kind of encouraging to play 29, was it? 28, 26. Could see another uptick tonight in a close game environment and its pace up. Evergreen reminder of the overlap patterns. Going to keep an eye out for it. I actually haven't watched them since Garland got back. Like not in detail. I flipped past them or whatever. But what the Jared Allen plus Garland and the Mobley plus Mitchell, those were always kind of like they'd start together and then the overlap patterns and that sort of thing. So if you're searching for correlation, that's how you do it. I like Garland as a scroll in the last round for sure. If he gets up to 31, 32, that 35.5 or 35.7 ADP is just kind of like wrong. Jared Allen's still playing through the finger, but he's had some monster nights. You can always play any of the 4 basically.
Yeah. I like Jared Allen. I normally don't like Jared Allen, but I do like him tonight. Just given the pace, man. He's probably going to have a lot of stock opportunities, a lot of rebound opportunities. So just the ability to do a lot in a short amount of time, given the fact that we can count on more possessions than usual for a guy like him. So I think the ADP is fair. Okay.
Yeah, I like that stance. Also throw out there that Larry Nance Jr., who started in the absence of Allen at one point, and there's a little bit of push-pull in terms of like minutes. Not that he directly impacts him, but he's questionable this evening. Max Strus is still out there. On the Miami side, no Bam, no Hero, which are like the 2 big usage ones there. Obviously, no Terry Rozier as well. Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, and Norm Powell have all been listed available to play. Jovic had a monster ceiling game the other night there that kind of came at the expense of when Ware had like a monster projection, and then he ends up outplaying his projection in the front court there. So yeah, the Heat, man, you can get kind of anyone you want on the Heat at any time you want outside of Ware. Wiggins projecting decently better than where I'm seeing him here, but yeah, the Norm Powell minutes have been down since returning there, kind of like a soft restriction of like that 30-ish. But we know he can fill it up, especially in a pace-up game. Just thoughts on this one, man. Who do you want to play whack-a-mole with, in particularly the 6th round? / do you like Ware at ADP?
No, I don't. He's John. Who was the goddamn player last year that always? Wasn't there a basketball player? Maybe I'm thinking MLB that always like opened with like the nuttiest projection ever on the site. Do you remember?
The OG answer to your question is Randy Arozarena. That is the OG answer to your question. Randy Arozarena on the Rays would open every single day as the highest projected player on the slate, above Judge, above Ohtani, above whatever on Underdog. But in terms of basketball,
wouldn't like Joval rock like a stupid high projection, or am I making that up? The point being, be cognizant of why guys have ADPs that they do is because when the contests open, you see things like Khalil Ware. That this has actually been toned down. He was sitting at like a 42 projected points, and when the app opens and the contest opens, like he gets either auto drafted or picked by people that are panicked on the clock and like, well, Khalil Ware's up here. I should probably just take him. And it never moves. And now he's sitting at ADP 21. And people think, oh, Bam's not here. You just jam him in. Worst pick on the board, bar none. It doesn't even come close. Khalil Ware at ADP 21.
Yeah. Will you have none this evening?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of feels like we've done this dance a couple times. We did it with the Ryan Rollins at one point. We did it with, I think it was Keontae George, but at least his usage rate is nice. We did it with Colin Sexton a couple slates this year where they're just the sacrificial lamb of like the 20s, where it's like the projection bros will never get there, but the hand drafters who are going off ADP will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just I will not. I will not. He's going to play a lot against the Twin Towers here in Cleveland, but no thank you.
Yeah, barring foul trouble, absolutely there. Yeah, who's your favorite to play tonight? Because I think it's a really hard question to answer because we have seen ceiling and right tail outcome performances from all four of these next players. Well, I guess you could include Ware in there as well. We've seen maybe there's 5 players here that I could see right tail outcomes from. 6 players in the fastest, highest total on the slate. You think one of them's going to matter, but I have no idea which.
Yeah, I'm team Never Jovic, but I got to give him his flowers, man. 51 fantasy points last time out, 29 points, just an absolute eruption for our guy Jovic, but it's Never Jovic for me personally. But I love Norm Powell. I think you can totally mix him in here. Jaime Jaquez, like we've been Jaime Jaquez guys for forever.
We've been saying.
Damn, who is this? Who am I doing a show with here? Been saying Jaime Jaquez is a dude, and all you just have to do is just remove like half the team, and then Jaime Jaquez becomes a good fantasy piece. Well, half the team is gone, and the pace is high. Like Jaime Jaquez is just a damn dude, man. And I mean, all of these guys are clickable today, and all of these guys are gonna have terrible ownership. Or really low ownership to be exact. Wiggins projects the best, so he's going to be the highest owned. But I think Jaime Jaquez is probably my favorite of the bunch, and then Norm Powell after. I mean, dude, Norm is just a baller, and like he just gets up for big games, man. He plays up to his competition. I would not be surprised if Norm Powell drops 30 tonight.
Woo! I like it. I mean, I want to see the uptick in the minutes, but I definitely agree with you that in a pace-up environment,
I think it's like an injury thing. Yeah. Like he's now he's like getting, now he's kind of getting back into the swing of things here. Big game, man. Miami, Cleveland, LeBron, the revenge game here. Big one.
I like it, dude. Defensive rating, man. Mobley, kind of like top 10 in the league, but our guy, Jaime Jaquez, top 25 in the league. Just saying. Both sides of the ball right now. Okay, dude. Any love for like Donovan or Wiggins? Wiggins will probably project the best out of that grouping, but to be fair, we haven't seen full Wiggins ceiling yet. But yeah,
you never do. He's just a projection darling, and he does get he does hit his projection quite a bit, but you rarely see anything higher than like 40 fantasy points. Like even 40 is like such like a glass ceiling for him.
Permission to give the greatest comp of all time?
Hurry.
Mikal Bridges-esque?
Yeah.
Like just always going to project that you can draft him, and he's maybe going to give you 38 to 45 fantasy points, but he's not going to break the slate for you. And his usage is overshadowed by other guys, but just a strong basketball player.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and shout out Davion, man. Davion just playing really good ball. Really good real life player.
Hardest guy to project in the playoffs last year because all those threes were just falling like crazy, and you're like, how the fuck? This is not sustainable. Him and Naismith on those playoff slates last year were just so hard to pinpoint on every given day.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Bulls and Spurs here, dude. We got the Wemby experience going against the funnel in Nikola Vucevic here, and we get 237 here, 4.5 by way of the Spurs on the road here. Obviously, the Giddey Q tag is what looms largest in this one. Dylan Harper still has the out tag. If you know, you know. Luke Cornett has the Q tag. And then on the Bulls side, that aforementioned Q tag on Josh Giddey. Still no Kobe White, but there was a positive report on Timeline. Could potentially be coming back soon. And Zach Collins is still out there. Probable tag on Patrick Williams. So, yeah, thoughts on this one? The obvious is, Giddey's going to project way, way better than his current Q tag status. If we play, let's take that out of the question for a second here. Do you want anybody right now other than Giddey?
Yeah, I want Vooch.
Okay. So you're fine with Vooch in the Wemby matchup. You don't care that Potential for a couple quick ones or anything like that?
No, Vooch is very underrated here.
Okay. Now let's play the wild card scenario because I don't think you're going to want anybody else in this game, right? Or I mean, from this team, right?
No, if Giddey sits, I want Trey Jones, but that's it.
Okay, so that's the question I was going to pose to you. It's Trey Jones would be your potential scroll if he sits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. No love for what Jalen Smith did last time out in short minutes. No love.
Shout out Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
No. Look at Buzelis, man. 4 to 5.8. I mean, that was he's hilarious, dude. He's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, 40 fantasy points against the Bucks and then 5 the next time out. Yeah, he's a
year away.
Guy. Yeah. Him and Ricochet are interesting guys. Interesting guys to watch. Okay, cool. And then other side of that, Spurs, dude. We got De'Aaron Fox that came back last time out. No minutes restriction, which really surprised me. People were drafting him quite highly, like 5th and 6th round on that slate. And then he's like, oh yeah, no minutes restriction. And then he plays 30 and he puts up 33 fantasy points. Their sweet quote after the game, I'm good at basketball. Fucking dope.
I did not see that.
Dude, like they're just interviewing him and they're like, yeah, so like blah blah blah, and then he's just like, I'm good at basketball. Like, fuck yeah, that's my dude. That's my dude. I do think people will think last year, I'm workshopping this take, Nez. I do think people will think of what they saw last year with the Spurs and be like, nah, wave Fox, especially at his ADP right here, because he's not going to project anywhere near here, even if you give him like 31, 32 minutes, that sort of thing. I think what we saw last year for De'Aaron Fox, that the wrist injury was like really hampering him. And it was a weird team for him to just get traded and then fit into. And they had Chris Paul for handling already. I think this is like a different scenario this year. I think he's healthy now. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that the fantasy projection that we saw at the tail end of last year that had people really sour on Fox wasn't a byproduct of the team or the combo with Wemby. It was the injury and the pieces around him as well. With the fact that Harper's out right now, I think that bodes well for him. Castle's had a couple double-doubles in a row here. Who would you rather play tonight, Castle or Fox? Or, do you like anyone at these ADPs?
No, I think I like Fox more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
No, it's a really good point. Like, there's a lot baked into what the perception is on Fox, and a lot of that is the results from last year, which were bad. But yeah, really good spot against Chicago. I could see this being like Fox 50 ball, and next thing you know, like everyone's talking about how sick the combo is with Fox and Wemby, and now we're drafting Fox like 2-3 turn next slate. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, to score 24 points first game back is impressive. Maybe get some dimes mixed in here. That would help a lot. I'm with you, man. I need more Fox. I'm definitely light De'Aaron Fox right now because he goes where I take Anthony Davis, where I take Reeves, Jalen Johnson, Miles Bridges. So I never get him, but I need to let things adjust so I can get some De'Aaron Fox in my portfolio.
I'll be really interested to watch the pick and roll stuff and like see where he ranks in terms of pick and roll handling and stuff, like what that 2-man game looks like without CP3 this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see this team, man. They're already a good team. Let's hit Chicago and then I got to bounce.
We hit Chicago.
Oh, we did. Yep. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I have to depart.
All right, dude.
Sorry for the late notice, but everything's good. Everything's good. I just gotta go to the doctors. But 60% Fox. All right, brother.
Nasty.
Godspeed. All right. Good luck, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
Good luck, dude. Let's keep moving here. We got Bucks and Mavs up next there. 233 by way of the Bucks there. We got the dreaded Giannis probable tag. Just going to confirm here. They were the back end of back-to-back this evening there. So, yeah. Giannis probable tag. We know what it means. Maybe hinging upon the availability of AD or not. Played 35 yesterday against the Rockets. Broke the slate versus the Bulls on the 7th there. So what was that? That was Friday night. On Friday night there. I'm taking Giannis at 3. I am doing the Luka and Wemby stuff ahead of him. That's how I was treating it this morning. I think it's kind of like a hedge on the status of him. I do think it's a pretty good indication that they are road favorites here, that he will try and go this evening. But we did see the Giannis quiet quit, but still played on a road back-to-back already this year, the Toronto game. Like, he didn't come out guns blazing. He didn't come out downhill. He was distributing a lot more. He didn't get his first shot up until like 6 or 7 minutes into that ball game. So I do think I do get it if you want to like soft fade, but I don't think we can go the bridge as far as pushing like Cade over him. So I think it's a pretty clear line in the sand that like Giannis has to be in the top 3 tonight. But yeah, just throwing it out there that like it obviously looks better on paper if AD goes on the other side. But it sounds like both Nez and I are in lockstep that the Q before the Q was last time out, and now, you know, he goes this evening. It also, just from a macro game standpoint, it's interesting that we got the doubtful tag on Derek Lively and we have the Q tag on Daniel Gafford. If both of them are missing and AD plays the 5, I actually like it more. Obviously, a little bit of foul risk in this if he winds up like defending Giannis at all, but I think that's PJ's music. Like that's PJ Washington's bag. You know, maybe a little bit of switch stuff off of that, but like, yeah, I don't know. AD is going to break the slate if the Q tag and he plays through the Q tag, because the projection is just going to be so much better. The question is, what do you do with the rest of the stuff in this game? And my quick answer is nothing. Like Dallas, it's AD, and that's what I'm playing. If we end up getting like AD ruled out and we have to swap, I actually like the matchup for Flag better than I like the matchup for PJ Washington. If we somehow got, Lively out, Gafford out, AD out, and then Giannis probable tag turned to an out tag as well. I saw Ricky Beers in the chat earlier say it would be the biggest LOL hoops moment this season if all the Q tags play, with the exception of Giannis, and then Giannis probable comes to an out. It would be the biggest hoops moment. Najee Marshall had a really nice game off the bench there the other night, 31 minutes there, and ends up scoring 51 fantasy points when everybody was jamming everyone else around it. Nobody really played it on our site, but just reminder that Najee Marshall still has that in his bag. So thoughts on it, like macro is literally I'm only playing Giannis and AD from this game. I could see this narrative, Captain James bringing up 80 minutes restriction if he played. I think they just let him run full if he's back. I don't know. Maybe there's like a soft cap kind of thing. But traditionally speaking, Jason Kidd hasn't been one to like announce a soft cap, I don't believe. Like that's just like my anecdotal understanding and narrative from playing over the last couple of years. But yeah, it's AD and Giannis. And if Giannis somehow the P tag turns to an out tag on the Bucks, I will not be swapping to Miles Turner or Ryan Rollins. There's just other plays on the slate I prefer. I guess you could play a little bit of Miles Turner as a scroll in the last round. You know, Gafford used to be a spot we like to attack. You know, the full ceiling game hasn't been there yet, but he's had some like solid outings. Yeah, I'm a little worrisome on the Giannis AD like coupled thing, but I think you just have to continue to click AD relative to his projection and whatever. This is the evergreen thing that J Cam's saying in the chat here is just like just dreading that Anthony Davis headed to the locker room tweet. Yeah. I mean, it's not, that's like the ball knowers angle of like, I don't know, but Anthony Davis gets kind of a bad rap. He, with the Lakers, the 1.5 years with the Lakers prior to the Mavs trade last year, he was like really durable and he played through a lot of the probable tags, and he got a bad rap for still being like that fragile dude he was earlier in his career. And he played a lot of fucking games, man. I think AD gets still a bad rap on the fragility angle. I think he's had some very unfortunate injuries, like the eye injury and like stuff like that. But Yeah, that's a good point. Like Tuna, I agree with you, man. Like AD and Joel are just like so annoying to draft, but their ceilings, man, their ceilings, even if they play like 28 to 30 minutes, are slate breaking, right? So it's kind of like he's always going to project better than where he's at. But I fully agree with you, man. Like if you wanted to sit out this slate and be like, oh, it's too volatile with like the ADQ tag, and we don't know if he's going to be restricted, we don't know if he's going to play, and I don't see any good swaps, I wouldn't fault you, man. From a bankroll management standpoint, if that's how you wanted to treat the slate, absolutely. But as someone who grinds every single day and is going to play, a minimum of 50 every single night, I'll be just scooping up AD and playing the long-term game associated with it, that his ceiling could break the slate. That being said, long-winded way of saying, like, if you get no Gafford, no Lively, and no AD, then I like PJ Washington. Even though he'll have the tough defensive assignment, and even though Giannis is a tough matchup, his rebounding rates increase like so much greater. I don't think we're going to get that tonight. I'm just pointing it out there that that's who I would swap to over Cooper Flag. If we get the biggest in but not AD in, I would swap to Cooper Flag in that instance instead of PJ Washington. So that's the push-pull for me. Buck side is Giannis only. If we get Giannis out, people would love to jam Bobby Portis like back in the day. That role has not been there. Bobby Portis has been like a backup 4/5 this year and just splitting like a little bit of overlap with Turner, but very little kind of deal. Like Bobby Portis isn't who we think Bobby Portis is at this point in time. That could change, and we love him from a rate standpoint, but I'm not playing Bobby Portis tonight. Let's talk about the Pels and the Suns here. Devin Booker goes at the front end of draft boards there. Jalen Green is out for this one after having returned. Royce O'Neal has a probable tag. On the Pelican side, we just got Yves Missi listed available to play from an illness. Still no Zion, no Jordan Poole, no DeJounte Murray. People saw a Trey Murphy ceiling game, finally. People are going to want to play that. Pelicans here. People are going to want to play that again, especially in a soft Suns matchup here. He was actually, there was like some coach speak after that he credited Queen as being like a really good passer. Like Derek Queen like opened a lot up for him. Man, these Derek Queen box scores are getting interesting. They're going to have to play him, man, and they're going to want to play him like expanded because they spent so much draft capital on him as part of the trade and that sort of deal. Box scores are getting interested. I'm paying attention. I still don't think he's draftable in our games. Saddiq Bey showed a little bit of a ceiling 2 times ago out when everybody else was out, but it's still soft cap. So I think it's kind of just Trey Murphy to play in this game. I think he's fine at ADP. He'll project worse than his ADP because the Q tags will push over him. I don't want to be caught with no Trey Murphy this evening, but I don't love the play. Like just in a vacuum, I don't love the play. Fears is extremely volatile. And we've seen kind of like multiple ends of the spectrum. The minutes are a little bit all over the place too. We did note that in that Hornets game, they closed without him for whatever reason. I think it's literally just Trey Murphy and maybe a scroll down Fears if you wanted it. Yves Missi being in makes me like Derek Queen a little bit less. I think it's just like too deep a slate with 9 games to get to anybody else on the Pels side there. Sun side, Booker or Mark Dubb is basically it. Mark Dubb sometimes goes undrafted despite the 28 ADP because the models never really like him. I like centers against the Pels. I like Mark Williams more than the field likes the Mark Williams. It's kind of like the Sarr thesis. It's kind of like the Jalen Duren thesis, where it's like he just scores so much better on our site. And as long as he stays out of foul trouble, he always has a ceiling especially in the softer matchups. Dealing with Z and Zubs in the last 2 matchups there, obviously not as great for him. Like this matchup better for him. So I'll be taking him. Booker, you're going to have to take at ADP if you want him, but he's going to project worse than his ADP, I imagine. I actually haven't looked. But yeah, I think it's just 2 playable pieces on the Suns there, and I will be eating a little bit of the Mark Williams ownership discount there. All right, next one up. T-Wolves and Jazz here. We saw Isaiah Collier return to the starting lineup. He played off the bench the first time out. Then he played. I'm interested to see what that does to Keynote's usage rate because he was like he was like top 10 in all of basketball in his usage rate. And I think that's going to slowly go down as there's like another handler out there. Keontae George is 23rd in basketball in usage rate with a 26.6. Yeah, it hasn't really led to like monster ceiling games yet, but yeah. Interesting stuff to look at here. I'll read you guys the injury report real quick from the Jazz here. Slow-mo, aka Kyle Anderson with a Q tag there. Taylor Hendricks has the Q tag as well. George Niang still out, and Walker Kessler done for the year. Pour one out there. And then on the T-Wolves side, they are the second night of a back-to-back here, and it was Terrence Shannon who was ruled out. Dante DiVincenzo and our guy Anthony Edwards are in already. Larry Markkinen, I like better than ADP tonight. I don't love the spot, but I like him better than ADP. Keontae, like, you can play it, and you can play it for leverage in the last round, but it's not the best spot in the world. Yusuf Nurkic is going to break a slate this year. He's going to break a slate this year. He tried his best to do so against the Pistons. We just have no idea where they're going to land on a night-to-night basis between the 20 and 30. But there's going to be a night this year. I don't think this is the spot against Gobert where he breaks the slate. But, like, he's going to break a slate this year because he is kind of like Joval Light. He is kind of like just one of these usage monsters who in limited stints can do a lot, and then all of a sudden he'll break a ceiling by getting expanded to 31, 32, 33 minutes there. Nurk's going to break a slate this year. Just keep it on your radar. He's a flat 36 ADP. I'm not playing him tonight. They probably need the size against Gobert. I'm not playing it. I'm only playing Lowry, basically. But if you scrolled to Nurk this evening, if you scrolled to Keontae George, I would not fault you in any regard because I can paint a narrative for both of those players. On the T-Wolves side, take a look at the Wolves here. Anthony Edwards is going to go right around ADP. Julius Randle is fine at ADP, but he's going to project slightly worse than that. We had this conversation the other day that Randle is just like, he's so effing solid at getting you 40 fantasy points. You know, the minutes are going to be there, multiple category contributions. He breaks it off for 38 minutes and 32 real-life basketball points in the revenge game against the Knicks, which was the first game for Ant coming back, and it's still only 44 fantasy points. Rudy Gobert has shown an immense ceiling in recent memory here, and this is a good matchup for him. It's nice to see the scoring return. Yeah, he did not score, and he had really low usage last year, and now he's factoring in a little bit more on the offensive end, which makes him a very viable scroll down in our scoring format. And this is a really nice matchup against Nurk to both stocks and to get after it on the boards. We talked about like the flow chart for years, right? With the Hornets, the flow chart for the Hornets were because of Mark Dubb, because of Nurk, because of these kind of guys, right? That we like to attack with centers. If you're going to scroll the F down, Rudy, you could do worse tonight. Like Rudy feels good. Jaden McDaniels has played really solid to start the year there. Always in play in our game, but I'm looking for different spots tonight here than that. I think it's just a tight band of these three. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. If you show up with Rudy tonight, I would not fault you in any regard. I like it. And then we get to the late night hammer here. The second of the nationally televised games, an NBA TV game, so a little less stock in that. 221 here. Hawks are playing at like a top 10 tempo. Clippers are playing damn near slowest in the league here. 5 by way of the Clippers in a 221 total. Clippers have already submitted. Bradley Beal has the Q tag, which is just something to watch. Kawhi Leonard is out already. Yeah, Jordan Miller with a questionable tag here who could factor in a little bit more. And they've made a couple of the G League guys available tonight, which, you know, kind of doesn't bode well for the Jordan Miller / Bradley Beal Q tags. Harden's going to project way better than his ADP. Zoobs is going to project better than his ADP. If you want to jam it, by all means, because there is no Kawhi, I get it. Harden already has a monster usage ceiling. He's the highest in ISO possessions. He's 1 game removed from his illness. I think there's plays that I like at the front end of draft boards a little bit more than Harden this evening. But if you want to get Harden in your life, when the projection bros get in there, Harden is not going to be a 10 ADP. So I'm going to play chicken with the room and try and get him to fall in certain spots. I mean, the Great Barrier Thief is on the other side. It's not the greatest matchup in the world for handlers. And, James Harden has the ball in his hand the most out of basically anyone in basketball and has a propensity to turn it over at times. And that does not bode well for a Dyson Daniels matchup. So, yeah, I don't love how slow they play. I don't love how old they are. I get that he's always going to project well. I'm not jamming him at ADP 5 or 6 like the models are going to tell you to do. I will take my chances on playing, whack-a-mole with the Cleveland guys in the highest total on the slate. I will take my chances on, the Booker stuff, even though he'll probably get a little bit of Herb treatment. I'll play whack-a-mole with the Anthony Edwards stuff all in this range. But, just know that when you're in the room with projection darling bros, Harden's not going to be available for you. He's going to be a fake flip the board candidate at like the 106, right? I think Zoobs is fine. He showed a nice ceiling 2 times ago there in those Phoenix matchups there. You'll love to see that. Funneling a little bit more on the offensive end through him last time out, but James Harden was hurt, or not hurt. He was a late downgrade with the illness, yada, yada. You guys know this. Just needed to play the 35, take a little bit more off his plate, that sort of deal. Zoobs is fine at ADP, but when you're looking at ADP, and this is why the most pivotal decision on the slate is the AD decision, is I'm taking Anthony Davis every single time over Zoobs, right? Like, that's what I'm doing. But that brings a lot of inherent risk into your portfolio. But Anthony Davis ceiling versus Zoobs ceiling, even though it's a half-decent matchup against, Zinger's not the greatest matchup in the world, but it's a half-decent matchup just in general. And there's going to be more usage just because of the out tags. I'm taking AD over it. And that's how I'm playing the slate, right? Shout out to Ty, man. Ty Tabinis rolling on through. Took down a Dog Bowl seat, his second Dog Bowl seat. Could not make it on the program today for Winner's Circle, but mad love to you, my friend. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the Clippers side of things. The Atlanta stuff is going to have a lot of push-pull. So the Atlanta stuff with the push-pull is going to be Jalen Johnson should probably be player 15 to player 12 range on the slate with no Q tag. He was not able to play through the Q tag against the Lakers there. Yeah, I do not have a good read on the situation of if or not he's going to play this evening. I'm drafting him as if he's going to play, but Dyson Daniels going ahead of him as kind of like the safer click. It makes sense. It makes sense. We have yet to see the outlier stock ceiling that really gets Dyson Daniels into that 50 to 60, fantasy point range. A lot of those ceiling games last year for Dyson Daniels were like without Trey, but also when Keaton Wallace was not there and he was like a G Leaguer guy. Keaton Wallace coming in for like handling and usage is actually like pretty bad for Dyson Daniels' offensive output. So like I'm a Keaton Wallace bull. I think he is good. Him and Kaysen are both really good basketball players. I think Keaton can fucking fill it up. He broke a couple slates last year as well. So I don't know, man. Keep an eye on this like Q tag decision because maybe Keaton becomes the chalk swap if Jalen Johnson is out. But if you can get 35 minutes of Keaton tonight because Na doesn't play and Jalen Johnson doesn't play, I'll take my shots on it at low ownership. That being said, when this same scenario occurred on, what night was it? The 8th. So what is that? That's Saturday night. I think I had 40 lineups in on Saturday night, and I had a pretty strong stance on Jalen Johnson. I swapped to Keaton Wallace, and I thought like, oh man, nobody drafted him. Here's the leverage. I drafted him in the 6th round of the crossover. Obviously didn't work out because the box score wasn't there. The usage was, don't get me wrong, but 35 minutes of him there, everyone swapped to him. and he came in like way higher drafted than I anticipated. So like the leverage wasn't actually there that I thought I created. So yeah, just putting that on people's radar that the models are going to love Keaton Wallace if you get the Nah rule out and you get the Jalen Johnson rule out. Mo Gay had a really nice box score that night when almost everybody was out there. 34 minutes, 46 fantasy points. You know, Mo Gay's shown a couple ceiling outputs when he starts at the 4 in recent memory. Yeah, good shout on the Moody one there. J-Cam swapped to the Moses Moody one. Good comp. Shout out to Tabinis, aka Ty. He has cashed his second Dog Bowl ticket, and in doing so, he gifts out 10 Badge Bros memberships to the community. We got 320 of us hanging out talking hoops right now. Going to do a little bit of Monday Night Football in a second as well. We'll make good on those memberships. Nez did 2 no strip Nez's, and we did a hoop show behind the paywall there last week. We'll probably do something similar this week. Tomorrow we'll be forward facing, but we'll mix it up the rest of the week there and get some members only streams. So shout out Ty for that. Zinger, man, I'm just a little scared, man. He still hasn't crossed 30. He still hasn't crossed 30, man. And I like Zinger. I want to play Zinger. I just don't think you can play him on a 9-game slate where he's going to get 28 minutes in a 220 total game that is paced down against Zoobs. That's as simple as I can make it. I want to play him. I want to be interested in it. You know, Onyeka, same kind of thing, right? Where he's splitting the 48 there. Even when he gets up to like the 32s, like he did last time out, it's good to see, but he's got to get there with the stocks and stuff because other guys are absorbing so much of the usage. Probably just not in my player pool. If you scrolled to them tonight, I would not kill you, but I like other avenues a little bit more, some of which we've already discussed. Clippers side, we kind of just broke it all down. Yeah, I think we're good. That's 9 games, guys. Let's hop in a couple drafts and see what it looks like on the fly. We also got the 4-point play tonight, which is just something to put on people's radar. A new contest. Yeah, 29's enough in the 6th. Yes and no. I agree, Eggers. Like, from a rate standpoint, I think it can be, but like 29 is Zinger with Zoobs out there and Onyeka, and he's playing the 4 in a pace down game with a 220. Like, wouldn't you rather just take shots on the Miami guys? I know I would. I think I'd rather take shots on Wiggins. I'd rather take shots on Jaime Jaquez. I'd rather take shots on, I mean, maybe it's a little bit results oriented to say Jovic, but I'll mix and match it tonight. 6th round, like, there's the interesting dynamic of this slate, and we talked about it off the top, guys, is that like this back end is like, they're all projecting for like the same, let's call it. And so much of the good plays in the 6th round are going to be contingent on the way the Q tags break at the front end. That's how I'm treating it. I like Luka at 1 tonight. Luka's been insane outside of getting his minutes cut last time out. Yeah. Yeah, if not tonight, Mark will. Come on, bro. I agree. Yeah, Stockton, Michael's saying that Garland is a good scroll in the last round. Couldn't agree more. Hope we expand him a little bit more, like 31, 32 this evening. Pace up spot, and you get leverage off of the early guys getting drafted. 6th round Norm over Zing. Yeah, similar thesis, except for we have reason to believe that Norm's minutes get expanded a little bit more. We'll see who is jamming the projection and who is not. Harden, there you go. Chris Fat Picks takes Harden at 5, so exactly what I was saying. Duran, unfortunately, doesn't come back to us. Nez and I both kind of bullish on getting overweight. Now, if I'm playing just the projection, guys, I would take Giddey here, and I would take Anthony Davis. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think you can make a case for Denny Avdia as well here. But if I think both of these players are going to play this evening, you just jam them right here and you play them alongside Luka. So we'll do 2 drafts here. I'm not going to completely show off exactly what I'm going to do. Or I'm not going to I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do in the second draft. But I'm going to paint 2 narratives out here is kind of what I'm going to do by design. Bronze or Bridges tonight? I think I'm team Bridges in there. I think I'm team Bridges. It's really close, but I think I'm team Bridges tonight. Yeah. I mean, Eggers brings up a good point that Norm Powell is literally like Cam Thomas-esque. Okay, we gotta make the decision here. We don't like Ware's ADP. We don't like Asar's ADP all that much. Although he will project better than this. I like Lowry here. I do think it's a good spot for Lowry this evening. I mean, not the best spot in the world, but I just think it's better than his current ADP. And then let's take Fox. We talked about Fox and liking Fox a little bit more than Castle. Interested to see what lead handling Fox looks like, not sharing the floor with CP3. You also get leverage off of the Wemby. Not that Fox and Wemby together can't reach ceiling in that game environment, but if Fox hits ceiling and he does it primarily through scoring, it probably cannibalizes Wemby scoring a little bit. So I like the idea of pairing Fox with a Luka team or pairing Fox with a Giannis team more than pairing Fox with a Wemby team. Not to say it can't get home, but yeah. Joshua, what's up, my friend? Yeah, Mr. Good Boy flopping around in the back here. He's getting excited, getting ready. He knows what time it is. He knows what time it is. He doesn't know that we still got to do a Monday Night Palooza, though. Even D'Angelo has a higher ceiling than Norm. Yeah, I think I'd rather play PJ and I'd rather play Flag than D'Angelo. But I understand. Good comment in the chat from Michael that I'm not going to bring up. A couple shots on Wiggins there. There's the zinger shot. Mark Williams goes pretty early there. Goes at ADP. Ayton feels fine, but I'd rather not pair it with a Luka team. Keaton Wallace is kind of swap only for me. Let's do the con thing. He could still reach ceiling. Let's do the Knipple thing and play the game environment off of Luka and be it's con on the other side. We think he's a little bit of blowout run, risk proof. Let's call it like that. I think Rudy was a fine pick there as well. We talked about that earlier. I think if you play whack-a-mole with the Miami stuff and you wanted to take Jaime or the fake Joker, they're both fine. PJ Washington and Keaton Wallace are swap only for me. I will not speculate on them playing in the 6th round or them having expanded roles in the 6th round. I do not think they're that strong of contingent plays. That goes for Cooper Flag as well. Those 3 are swap only for me. Colin Sexton is out. Dude, Shaedon Sharpe, he has to hit ceiling one of these days. His usage rate is so nasty. I'm going to keep martingaling the Shaedon Sharpe stuff until he hits stealing. People don't ever want to play it against Orlando, but this game is way faster, and the defense on Orlando is way shittier than we've seen in recent memory. I already had the Nurk thing. If you guys want to play Nurk ceiling, I don't think it's the good matchup for Nurk ceiling, but I think it's fine. Trey Jones is swap only for me. Desmond Bane, I have already drafted a couple times, so I'm fine with it. Fears has a little bit of a ceiling in the last round, but is probably a little bit too deep for tonight. Kalkbrenner feels fine. Feels like a good one that you can chase stocks and usage late. So there's a ton of options to go with in the back end here. Talking about CJ, I've never been a CJ in the last round guy. I don't think he gets pushed if it plays to spread. I know we saw a ceiling game from him on the weekend there. 33 minutes, 44 fantasy points. If I was going to play, I think I'd rather play George. I'd rather play Keyshawn George in the last round. I know it hasn't been there in recent memory, but yeah. And maybe he gets the tough defensive assignment on Cade, especially with Belil out. But yeah. All right, let's rip another one of those in real time here. Draft number 7 for your boy. Yeah, curated saying if Shaden can get 30 minutes, we could see a 50 burger. I fully agree, man. I fully agree. Con story time in the 6th every single time. I like it, Rocket Sauce. I like it tonight, man. Where keeps falling to 36 pick? Is he a full fade at ADP? Or at that point, I would gladly take Ware at 36 just for the uniqueness angle. If he's falling that significantly in the projection darling rooms, I'm fine with it, man. I'm fine. I just don't want Ware at ADP. Like I don't like the Mobley matchup. I don't like the Twin Towers matchup. I do think he plays more in those matchups as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. Like we see it when they play Wemby and like that sort of thing that like Spoelstra loves the Ware versus Wemby stuff. But yeah. I just don't think it's like as clean as last year when people are just like, yo, it's a 1-for-1 Bam swap. Like we know he has the ceiling, but like the games in which he had crazy ceiling last year, that was before they had Norm. That was before Jaime Jaquez was playing expanded minutes. It's when we were dealing with Q-Tag Jovic, who takes away like a decent amount of front court reps. It was when Andrew Wiggins wasn't on the team. It's when Jimmy Butler had a Q-tag turned to an out tag. I just think the circumstances when we saw those monster Cleo Ware, and I still think he's a freak athlete. I think he's a great basketball player. I wish he was getting used more. I just think the ceiling output that we think we're 1-for-1 getting is not necessarily as clean as that. And he's going to project worse than that spot. That doesn't mean I want to have none because I recognize that like he's the archetype of basketball player that can put up ceiling, right? Interesting to see here. We got another 6 Red Badgers room here with some really strong drafters. The fluidity, guys, the fluidity of this 5 through 11, 5 through 12, and it's going to continue to change if we get 80 in, if we get Giddy in. The fluidity of the draft board is going to fluctuate greatly from a combo standpoint from pick 5 to like pick 15 once news breaks, right? I love this, flipping the board to pull Duren up, a guy that we like with the ceiling. I'm not sure I'll play much Cade plus Duren tonight, but if it got home, I would not be shocked. This is a spot where I think we can play the projection here and we could take Harden. Harden's going to project way better than this. If you compare Harden and Cade together in a room where nobody else is playing the Harden projection, that's the kind of Harden teams I like to build. I'm not going to be the guy who's auto drafting James Harden at pick 5. Captain James saying no over to do unabated looks or anything for pick'ems tonight, but con blocks at 1.5 seems good. We can run that in the S words. We'll have to give it. I don't know if we're still going to be live in half an hour when the unabated stuff goes live, but we can run it against market projections right now. I can run it against some of my own stuff too. But admittedly, I would rather run it against unabated with their projections when the projections come out in half an hour's time. Market stuff popping right now is Derek Queen. Interesting. Also, Duren popping a little bit. This is just market-based stuff, though. Interesting. Anthony Davis and Giddy go, so we don't have the Q-tag decision. Randall comes back to us. I don't love the Randall stuff this evening. If I will say about this spot on the board, I'm going to take Trey Murphy here. It's not the sexiest pick in the world. It's going to project worse than this, I imagine. I'm just not a huge Randall guy. And like, if 40 points is what you need in the third round on a 9-game slate, I'm not going to show up with it. I'm going to chase more ceiling than that. And we've seen it from Trey Murphy. I will say though, guys, if Jalen Johnson, so this is the conversation I was about to have, is we're building the non-Q tag team. We did the Q tag thing the first time. We're doing the non-Q tag thing this time. I didn't want to spell it out for people, but that's kind of our approach right now. This whole like bracket of players, Reeves is going to project better. Bridges is going to project better. Jalen Johnson's going to project better. But we know they're all the projection, guys that everyone else is jamming. So we're going to try and build a slightly more contrarian team than that. I don't love playing Zoobs with Harden. I do think they can both get there. But like Harden does so much in isolation, and you need like old school Harden of like 31, 8, and 10. Like 31, 4, and 10, like something like that. And oh fuck, I just talked myself into taking Soups as I was trying to explain it. My bad. It's fine. I was gonna just take Franz there and flip there to ADP because I do feel it's like a little bit of a tier. I don't like it as much. I like it better here if we got Franz there. But yeah, just talking it through. But the fluidity of this like 14 to 21, I was gonna say like if you get no Jalen Johnson, like Dyson Daniels is going to become pick 15 or 16. Maybe he becomes even pick 13, right? Yeah. So it's a really IKB, ADP and IKB versus projections battle today. Because if you just drag and drop the projections, you're going to get 100 Q tags on every team. That's what you're going to be doing. I think Castle's fine. I think Drew's fine. I want to go scrolling, though. I like the Mark Dub stuff. Vooch is okay. All right. Let's do the Mark Dub stuff here. It's highly volatile, and that's the kind of archetype of player that I like to take swings on in the 5th and 6th round. And then we'll scroll for the last one here. Similar to what we were doing last time. I think these are all fine picks back here. But the reason I passed, so what I was trying to set up, guys, and I'm still going to do it. Actually, you know what? I might pivot now that I'm not. But what I was going to tell you guys is what I was going to do was I was going to take Franz where I took Zoobs, and then I was going to play the Shaden Sharp narrative of like, man, this usage rate and his ability to score and his freak athleticism finally has to amount in a game environment play. And I wanted to do like a him plus Franz. Now that we got 2 pieces of the Clippers, I'm actually going to go game environment and take Zinger here and just take, hopefully we get 30 minutes from Zinger, and Zinger plays off of that Clip stuff. Not my favorite team in the world. Not exactly what I was going for. I think it's a great double scroll slate once Lowry's off the board. You can make a case for Castle and Holiday having to go every draft. You can make a case for Asar having to go every draft, especially with Tobias out, and Beef Stew out. But like, I think it is a great double scroll slate after pick like 37. About that. Okay, let's do one unabated pick'em here. Obviously, this is not from the projections. This is from market-based. Yeez Misi getting ruled in is kind of bad for Derek Queen, but it's probably bad for Derek Queen. But we like what we've seen a little bit from him, and it's popping in hashtag market models right now to play the rebounds plus assists. We like Jalen Duren a lot tonight. Let's play the Jalen Duren rebounds and assists narrative right there at 15.5. That is another market-based one that is popping a little bit for us. And let me see what else we got. Ron Holland is popping a little bit. Imagine he jumps into the starting lineup tonight. That's pretty good. Luka points and assists look good. Luka PRA looks good. I like this one too. Anthony Black stuff with no Suggs. That feels like a ball knower's angle. I think the thesis of the play, though, is to do the con stuff. And the con stuff would pair well with the Luka stuff. So let's do the Luka points and assists or PRA. Let's do points and assists for Luka. And then let's go the con route. Con is not unabated. These first three are market-based projection ones. The con one is bro science with the boys in the community here. Points and rebounds and ladies, of course. We got the ladies out here as well. There are no promos in the box here. We're going to put a little 50 USD on that. Oh, that doesn't get us over 600. There we go. 55 USD gets us to 650 there. Derek Queen on the higher, 7.5. Jalen Duren, who both Nez and I really like tonight, rebounds and assists higher. Luka showing a little bit of plus value. When you can get a star who's showing plus value, it's pretty rare, guys. It is pretty rare because the efficiency of the efficiency of like star players in terms of site-based projection is always stronger than like the depth rotation guys. Dropping that one in the chat. And then Con on the points and rebounds there. Like that one. Yeah, Con Air, baby. Let's get it. I like this Anthony Black angle. That's pretty good. Yeah. This is a good shout from Car Park. And the Chris interview to tell him to push the plane in the future. He's a full-fledged hand drafter, man. He does no autos. Full-fledged hand drafter, and he's drafting on the computer, and he's starring every player manually. So I can't get mad at a guy who drafts like that. I can't. I would love to tell him to push the plane, but that's not the type of player I'm going to tell to push the plane. Let's do a quick and dirty version of the Primetime Palooza. Don't love the slate, guys. Don't love the slate. It's a pretty tough slate with some of the looming Q tags at the wide receiver position. Garrett Wilson left early. Keyshawn Boutte did not play. Matthew Golden is buried down here since the return of Christian Watson. And we don't know if he's going to go tonight there. Also, the box scores have been really ugly for a dude that we were really high on. And then we see the big breakout game here from Travion Henderson. And we go, damn it, we were right. We were right. We were so right on Travion Henderson. Look at how explosive he is, even against one of the best run defense with Vita Vea right up the middle. And you got to run to the outside. Travion Henderson says, nah, bro, I got this shit, and shoots right through the A gap or B gap or whatever the fuck it was, and then takes off like a rocket and houses one from far out there. We got a lot of reason to be excited about Travion Henderson. It's the best thing that could have happened to that team going forward is them being thrust into knowing that they have to play him. I'm a little bit scared that they sit this a little bit rich of an ADP, and we're all looking at the box score, especially if Ramondre Stevenson comes back, or especially if they continue to use Jennings in some form of goal line utilization there. It is a pretty tough tight end slate, not going to lie. Pretty tough tight end slate. I think it's a pretty good quarterback slate, like just in general. I would not be playing Jalen Hurts at ADP. I get it. People are talking about the tush push narrative and all this stuff. His floor ceiling combo is very nice on this slate, but I feel that way about all of the quarterbacks on this slate. A little less bullish, obviously, on Justin Fields when we only saw 11 passing attempts, especially if we do not get Garrett Wilson. He's going under an MRI today. This is not a slate for the faint of heart in terms of, how you're going to treat this, these Q tag situations. This is a little bit high variance. I'm not going to lie. And, that's kind of why I'm sitting this one out. I'll still get 10, 20 entries in. Don't get me wrong. I always do. But a little bit sitting this one out. It's very top heavy at the skill positions, and that's leading me to soft fading the two high ADP quarterbacks. Kind of an evergreen thesis when it comes to these slates. But yeah, just want to put that on people's radar. The tight end slate is very tight, and because we're seeing all of these Q tags at the back end that nobody wants to click, a lot of people are clicking double tight end build, and that makes it hard. So if you want to prioritize, I will prioritize Dallas Goedert on my non-Eagles other pieces teams. So the push-pull dynamic of like Eagles are hyper-concentrated. Eagles are coming out of the bye right now. I want to play Saquon. I want to play, AJ Brown. I love the Devontae Smith spot tonight. The Packers run a shit ton of zone coverage, and he has killed zone coverage. It's something we talked about before with the 49ers back in the day of like that push-pull of Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. And one was the zone beater, one was the man beater. Like Devonta Smith is the zone beater out here. And I want Devonta Smith. I'm not going to take him like every single time over AJ Brown. But if you wanted to, I wouldn't fault you. I think there's a little bit of push-pull with those two. They both can definitely get home. But just the way that the boards break, guys, I want to be overweight Saquon today, which makes him my 101. I want Saquon. I want to be overweight Saquon. I know we haven't seen like full-fledged like ceiling Saquon other than the one game against a revenge game and B, terrible run defense. I know that people are a little bit scared of the tush push. I want to be the Saquon guy on this slate. And if that kills me, it kills me. But I'll play Saquon 101. I'll play Jacobs behind it. And then I'll start jamming all these skill position guys in a variety of orders. But that's kind of how it's going to look for me. Barkley, Jacobs, Hall, then some combo pending how I'm pairing with my Barkley teams or not, because I don't want to just pair teammates over and over and over again. And then I'm going to be light on Hurts and May unless they fall. I mean, I'm not pulling them like all the way down, but I'm doing like, Hurts at like 5 or 6 or something like that, skinny stacked at the corner when it gets to me. I'm not just jamming the Hurts projection. If you wanted to be the Hurts 101 guy tonight, absolutely. That's another way to get exploitative over the field. I would not fault you. Just the stylistic difference in play there. If you want to be the Hurts naked guy, it's going to be very contrarian, because the way the draft board falls over and over again is you naturally end up with Jalen Hurts stacks because of ADP. So if you want to play Jalen Hurts naked, that is like a very, very contrarian path. Yeah. The tight end stuff. If you want to play the VORP conversation, people want to just hand the role to Luke Musgrave and be like, yo, this is the guy now that we're dealing without Tucker Kraft. He's a little bit higher of an ADOT guy. I was looking at this earlier. I'll bring up the utilization report stuff for you guys on the Packers. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I was not prepared for my own segment. I got to log in. 1 second. There we go. You're looking at this kind of stuff. The higher ADOT stuff was Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave was more of like the seam, the stretch, the slot, like that kind of stuff. And that introduces ceiling, which is a lot of fun. But I'm also leaving a light on, that Fitzpatrick as a scroll the F down can encompass a little bit of this role. If one of the tight ends at the top end, aka Hunter Henry or Dallas Goedert, do not, put up 10, 11 and break the slate, I think you're just going to want to be the last guy to take tight end. You're going to want to be the last scroll guy at tight end. That's kind of how I'm treating it this evening. Let me check one more thing while I'm at it. Yeah. Okay. In terms of like rankings at the tight end position, the top 2, then I think I actually like Mason Taylor over Luke Musgraves, especially like I would throw out this box score, like just because they did not throw. They scored 2 special teams touchdowns. There were only 11 pass attempts in the game. There were only 5 completions from Justin Fields, and somehow they won the football game. like just crazy stuff. But if you're going to play the Justin Fields to Mason Taylor skinny stack, I actually like it a little bit more than like being the guy who jams Musgrave. I'm playing most of these tight ends as skinny stack partners there. Yeah. I want to be one of the first 4 to take a tight end, but if I get froze out at the tight end position and I have to take like one of these back end guys, I think it's Fitzpatrick. It's so gross. It's so gross. T-Bear asking, not concerned about the Saquon hammy. No, not overly. Not overly. They had the extended break there. He comes in without a designation. We can confirm on the practice reports here. I believe there was one LP mixed in there. Nah, if he's good to go by me, like it's fine. They have been mixing in. I will show you guys in 1 second here. One man show gives you less time to search stuff to then bring up to then share. Saquon was full this week after he was on a bye. I'm totally fine with Saquon this evening. But I do think it is interesting to note here that like Tank Bigsby, like in your home leagues and stuff, like Tank Bigsby and like Brian Robinson Jr. should be like added in most places, because it was nice to see the Tank Bigsby usage like return and him look half decent. So I do think it is like, if you wanted to find a contrarian like touchdown in a blowout game environment, not that I'm forecasting blowout for this evening's game environment, but like if you wanted to find like the contrarian scroll the F down touchdown that nobody else is hunting for at the running back position, I think Tank Bigsby is like kind of interesting, man. Yeah, he had 100 yards last time out, and like people forgot that he's actually like decent. In terms of game environments, guys, a 45 and a pick'em line and a 43.5 with a huge spread by way of the Patriots. Nobody really wants to slam the Jets, and there's a lot to do with that has a lot to do with the way Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson looked last week, and Garrett Wilson with the Q tag. So yeah, I'm fine still fading quarterback and taking Justin Fields late because of the rushing upside. He can give you a high enough floor that you don't have to break a slate if one of the other guys doesn't, especially if I'm playing Saquon over Hurts, right? I'm effectively saying that Hurts doesn't break the slate. Yeah, in terms of scrolls, running back position, it's really ugly, man. It's really ugly to scroll, but I think you can take the Q tags of the New England guys, especially when they are 11.5 point home favorites. And we've seen the reluctancy of Vrabel to just hand over the keys to Travion. So even though we saw this sweet game from him and he, jammed it down people's throats on the Sunday slate there, Nez likes to say the toothpaste back in the tube. Well, there's a non-zero chance that some of the short yardage stuff or some of the goal line stuff returns to one of these other two guys, right? And a lot of this Jennings stuff, we don't know what the usage for Travion would have looked like had Jennings stayed in the ball game, because Jennings did get a red zone carry early in that game, right? So if you want to play the narrative of blowout run, I think Ramondre is the better of the clicks between the two, especially given their health right now. And then Tank Bigsby would be the other one. Isaiah Davis continues to mix and match in there, but like it's so thin betting on the lowest team total guy. In terms of the wide receiver stuff, I think you just play the Q tags and then you swap off it if you have to. But I will say Kyle Williams had that really big play and scored a touchdown there, which is kind of his bag. Like he looked so effing fast. If you want to buy it before you see it again, playing Kyle Williams on this slate makes a lot of sense. Also, A.D. Mitchell, I like him more as a scroll, but he's going to have another week to get acclimatized and be ready to play kind of vibe here. So if you want A.D. Mitchell to be like, hey, he's had enough time, now he's going to play the X, like the bullish coach speak stuff was like pretty bullish on him, right? In terms of leans on the Green Bay guys, Dontavian Wicks and Christian Watson have a lot of push-pull in their usage. Like they're both like the field stretcher guy. They're both not like 100% snap guys, like that sort of thing. Christian Watson, I think it's important to note, does not have the designation. Where was it? Christian Watson does not have the designation, and it says cleared for Monday Night Football. He went limited. Dontavian Wicks also went limited. So I don't know what to make of that. I think it's bullish that he's been cleared, obviously. I don't think Matthew Golden plays football tonight. He went, he had the shortened outing last time. Then he went limited DNP. So I'm not as bullish on the Golden stuff playing. Also important to note that Savion Williams, who's like the backup to the backup, was also on the injury report all week. Yeah, I think you just want to play Romeo Doubs. I think you want to play this game through Jacobs and Doubs, and that's how I'm treating it. Christian Watson is like the stretch the field, break the slate guy. I think I'd rather play Garrett Wilson above Christian Watson right now and just try and encapsulate some ceiling potential there. But he will get the Christian Gonzalez treatment, which hasn't been very nice for opposing wide receivers. So pretty tough spot there. All in all, guys, very, very tough slate, but it's a slate that you can take stands on that like makes sense. I'm going to jump in here. As I was looking through it all this morning, I like my angle of playing like the Saquon narrative and playing, kind of like a ball control style game this evening. But it's really hard to build good projecting teams that don't overlap in team usage, if that makes sense. So I think if you want to be contrarian, naked Jalen Hurts teams, because they're so fucking hard to build, and you play the 2 or 3 tush push narrative and it cannibalizes everybody else. That's one angle to it. I think another angle is a portfolio based angle where you make a concerted decision. Am I team Barkley? Am I team Jacobs? Am I team Hurts? And you build like a hyper exploitative way in that regard. And then I think I would just take some of the Q tags. Don't be afraid to take some of the Q tags. T-Bear's got his hand in the dirt here, and he goes rewatched the video of the Saquon hamstring, and he's a full fade. Yeah, I mean, sure. Not me. I understand it if someone wants to play it that way. Interesting to see Car Park is team Jacobs over Hurts. I wonder if he is team Jacobs over Saquon as well. As I said before, guys, it's really hard to build Eagles teams that don't pair Eagles together. So there's going to be a lot of Eagles onslaughts without Jalen Hurts, and there's going to be a lot of Eagles skinny stacks with Jalen Hurts. So you just have to be cognizant of how you want to build this evening. We're going to get unabated projections in half a second here. That's good. Jets got 20th in the 20th in the Wildcat. Best finish since the Masterclass. Love to hear it, my friend. Love to hear it. Love to hear that you took the plunge. Yeah, some good shout outs for the Masterclass this week. This is kind of your standard run out, guys. And then you're kind of like forced into a corner. Obviously a little contrarian at the 105 here. And you're kind of like forced into a corner of like, what do you do here? Well, you just pair AJ Brown with Saquon. And then you just take Stephon Diggs, who had a nice expanded role last time out. And you hope that it's sticky and that Kayshon Boutte doesn't play. He scored a touchdown in 3 straight. Highest amount of targets on the season as well. But most of the draft boards look like this, guys. And then you just kind of like hope that we don't get blanked at tight end and one of the tight ends come back to us. There's going to be a lot of overlap in the builds here. Christian Watson there. Back here. You guys want to hear a story that will restore your faith in humanity, I guess? My sister and I went to a concert on Thursday night there. We went to Eric Church. First time I'd done a brother-sister concert in quite a long time. Let's make this pick here. Jordan Love goes there, so that's the last of the quarterbacks outside of us taking Fields. So Fields will be our last pick. I think you want to take Mason Taylor here. I think it definitely sets up better to take Taylor. I'm skittish on the Garrett Wilson stuff, but it does seem insane that if you're building a Justin Fields team in a trailing game script to just not take Garrett Wilson here. But this build is going to be duped. It's going to look like 1,000 other builds. It's directly at ADP, but it's like crazy hard not to just build this team when you're given this opportunity, right? Like, it's like, hey, look at this. They're all good football players and they're all, ceiling output football players, and they all stack perfectly with Justin Fields. This is going to be chalk. You're going to have to get more creative than this, and you're going to have to do something that's like super uncomfortable, like taking Emmanuel Wilson or like taking Tank Bigsby to separate from the field. The problem is the likelihood of those teams winning is substantially less, right? So it's the evergreen push-pull dynamic of a primetime Palooza. Steph Curry is going to play basketball tomorrow. There's an update. All right. Thank you, my friend. Make this look good. There we go. Captain James asking, aren't you kind of cooked if you're last at quarterback? I don't think so at all. Like, I still have faith in Justin Fields. I know the last box score looks like pretty bad, but like he put up a 20 burger right before that, and he just like hasn't had a rushing touchdown in a little bit. And I understand that it was the Bengals. I don't know. Like, you can't really run on New England. So like Sean Tucker was the first player to rush for more than 50 yards against New England all season this year. And they played some really good backs. So like, yeah, I don't think your game plan in a divisional matchup where you're 11.5 point road dogs, I don't think your mindset has to be like, oh, we have to pound the rock with like Breece Hall. Like, yeah, he's going to be a high usage guy and he's going to be warranting his ADP. But like, he scored last game out. He scored via like a big long dump off from Justin Fields. Like, we have those explosive play upsides, and then we got Justin Fields' legs. If nobody separates at the quarterback position tonight, like hypothetically, Jalen Hurts scores 1 on the ground, 1 on the air, and goes for 20 fantasy points. Drake May does his thing and goes for 20 fantasy points. Jordan Love goes for 15. Like, we can easily get 15 from Fields, or we can get 14 from Fields, and look at how much stronger our flex position plays are than the other teams that have Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins, Dotson. So like, we can cover the VORP gap by playing Fields as long as Jalen Hurts or Drake May don't score 2 on the ground. And even if they do, we can kind of mask that by Justin Fields scoring 2 on the ground. So I'm fine with it, man. He always has a ceiling, even though he might suck horribly. It's like perfectly framed from John. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take a look at I'll tell you guys a story. It was pretty cute. So my sister's, she's pregnant right now. So she was the DD. She wasn't having any drinks and stuff like that. We're hanging out. We're sitting there, and a family of 3 rolls up beside us. Parents kind of like late 60s, and daughter that was like about our age, like probably in her 30s kind of thing, right? And we just started chatting with them, really nice people. But her husband got lost, and we helped find him in the arena is effectively the story. And then we, shared some stories and talked before the concert and whatever. We're just hanging out. And at the end of the night, when we're sitting there, the mother, who's like, 65, 70 years old, reaches over and puts like a piece of paper in my hand and like says it was, oh, it's so nice to meet you or whatever. And on the piece of paper, they leave. And then at the end of the night, like we helped them a couple more times. We helped them get drinks. We helped them help them walk over the seats because they were in the wrong row. Like we helped them a couple times, and they were like, and she had a handwritten pen and paper note that she gave me that said, thanks for being so kind. We need more kindness in this world. And put their landline phone number with their names and then their daughter's phone number on the paper, because we were talking, they were from Kelowna, and they were like, anytime you're up there, we'll take you to a winery. You guys are so nice. You're lovely people, kind of like this. Just a true like restore faith in humanity, that there are people out there that will still handwrite a note and hand it to you with their phone numbers on it. It was truly like the sweetest thing ever. It was pretty funny. Okay, let's take a little look at the unabated pick'em stuff here. Unabated projections should be out right now. Yep, they just updated 500 players there. We will do this, and we will do this, and we will see what's popping in the hashtag models. Yeah, just wanted to flex. Got a phone number from a girl. Married man gets phone number from women. Okay, as you guys could see, popping in the projections, they like Alex Sarr more on the PRA. Jake LaRavia, that's an interesting one, just in terms of the rebound stuff there. Some gross ones down here, some Gary Trent stuff and some Harrison Barnes stuff. The Kalkbrenner one as well. And then Yves Missi on the lower, which kind of plays well with the Derek Queen stuff we played before. Maybe just a slight limitation to Yves Missi coming back this evening. Let's build out the unabated one. Let's start with that Kalkbrenner one that we liked. They like it for rebounds and assists. Rebounds and assists on the higher there. That's a fun one to mix in. Sarr on the PRA was something that everybody was kind of in tandem with, and we liked it more than the projections would like it, but it seems like unabated's projections like it. So love to see that for our previous Sarr call. Yves Missi lower on the rebounds plus assists. That's at a 9.5 there. They have it at an 8.3. Jake LaRavia on the rebounds. That one's a little dicey, but I trust my people at unabated. Gary Trent higher points. And feel free to, guys, these are the best plays right now. Obviously, the fluidity of the day will shift projection, but these are the best ones right now. Feel free to mix and match these, obviously. You don't have to play all 5 together like a psychopath like me. Nothing in the promo stuff. So we'll go ahead. 50 gets us 1,006. Higher on the Kalkbrenner, rebounds and assists, 7.5. Alex Sarr higher on the PRA, 26.5. Yves Missi lower on the rebounds and assists of 9.5. Might be a little limited coming back, first game back. Gary Trent higher on the points, second night of a back-to-back, tends to play a lot of minutes, can get a good catch and shoot matchup here. And then Jake LaRavia for 3.5 rebounds on the higher there. Let's just drop that in the chat. Love that. Thursday Night Football pick'em. I like the Devontae Adams. I like the Devonta Smith stuff. We could take a look at unabated and see what they have for the football stuff. I do not have the blitz loaded in right now. Give me 1 second here, and I'll mess around. Give you this. Do that. Switch. All right. Lower on the Josh Jacobs rushing attempts, higher on the Devonta Smith receptions, higher on the Saquon receiving yards. Man, those are low-key like evergreen ones that I always like. Dude, let's just put those together. I'm glad that the projections kind of agree with what we were talking about. All right. Okay, let's do it. Let's just do a cheeky little, we don't have to get carried away here. Saquon receiving is like just an evergreen one for us guys. Like we know it's kind of volatile, like steals, home runs, like these kind of stats where it's like he either gets the opportunities or he doesn't get the opportunities. But we've always been bullish that he just needs one catch to break that off, right? Receptions on Devonta Smith as well. And then Josh Jacobs this evening, lower on the total. What was it? Was it receiving yards? Oh, no, it's rushing attempts. Okay. Rushing attempts, slightly docked. Gives us a 4Xer there. We'll put our unit of the 50 on that one as well and build that out. That one actually is a little bit unabated approved there as well. And it does coincide with some of the plays in which we liked. So there's 3 pick'ems as well. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Ooh, getting ahead of himself. Go Cards is getting best ball playoff brained. Who's going to be the number 1 seeds in each conference? That's a tough one. I haven't looked at it fully right now. We'll circle back on that when the playoff contests drop. All right, guys, that's it. 2 hours, 40 minutes, still 300 and some odd of us hanging out. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Appreciate you guys so much for being here. Grateful for another profitable slate from Gumby. I missed that one earlier. Love to see it. Dat Mavis coming in, 5 Badge Rose memberships. David with 5 Badge Rose memberships and 10 from Ty Tubinis, who cashed his second Dog Bowl seat there. Last shout outs for the community. Barzy's going to be on for a special winner circle tomorrow. Anthony, big shouts to Anthony, who got his first GPP crown there on the weekend, a little 2,000. Took that one down. Anthony also has a little bit of a YouTube channel, this Big Ant FFB. He's breaking down some of the Underdog stuff on there. Shout out to our guy Awin, who wins, even though he can't even play the Dog Bowl anymore. He wins the morning slate. And then our aforementioned David right there took down a basketball slate over the weekend, hence the donated gifted subs. Mad respect to the community, guys. Best of luck this evening. I will be in the hoop streets the rest of the day, and I will have 10 more Primetime Paloozas in which I will be selecting Saquon Barkley at the 101 this evening. Shout out to the good people at Unabated. Shout out to the good people at Solver. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, gonna be a full show tomorrow as well because we got a big NBA slate there. But probably try and cap it because it is a holiday there. Anyways, everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.